Hello, I'm Eagle. Eagle Gardens one. Is fucking talking shit with Eagle. Episode 411. Hopefully you guys had a great day. Got a fun guest tonight. You guys have seen him around the chats. Big Bob Grows. How you doing? You want to tell everybody how you're doing and of course where they can find you?
Yeah, good man. I'm over on Instagram at Big Bob's Grows, and then on YouTube, same name. Fucking just do the little how-to videos. I started doing those, like trying to help new growers and stuff like that. And then it turns into going onto these chats and just talking shit with everyone.
Cannabis community's a great place, that's for sure.
Definitely.
What you smoking on over there tonight? What you got?
This is some of my gelato. It's a garlic GMO crossed with gelato 33, but it's just the pheno that I kept around is just super pungent garlic. It sticks in your mouth afterwards. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. That sounds good.
Yeah. Did a bunch of transplant today.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, I was just saying nice there. I'm a little jealous. I needed to be doing a little garden work today. I didn't quite get to it.
I know. I told my wife, I'm doing this deal online, so I got to roll a few joints real quick and get some things.
Yeah, I do appreciate you taking the time to come hang out tonight. Not only
definitely, bro. Thank you.
Introduce yourself formally to the community, but to buy us another night of hanging out. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
Fucking A. Yeah, I got a 75 plant count out here in Colorado. So I do a bedroom downstairs in the basement, and then a flower room in the garage. I'm running about 4,000 watts out in the garage or so, flower room. I'm about to do another row in there of another 1,000 watts. I'm doing 2 separate 500 miles.
Nice little grow. Nice. It's a nice.
Yeah, you definitely get so much more. Every 1,000 watt you take out of there, you double your space, by using 2 500 watt LEDs. Fucking, it's nice. Definitely, technology really came a long way in the last 10 years.
It's nice to talk with somebody that thinks a little bit like myself. There, and it's the way I think too, man. I think, man, I pulled out one of those dollies. I can run two lights of something else. 2 of those.
Yeah. I'm okay with the power bill exactly how it is. You know what I mean? So it's $300 a month, and that runs my house and both rooms. So I mean, that's perfect. And then if every 1,000 watt I get rid of, I got 2 more HBSs in there right now. So in the next maybe 8 to 9 months, I want to get rid of both of them and do 4 more lights out there. But I'm just doing 2 at a time. They're not cheap. But they're definitely working, man.
Oh, it was me, brother. It was me.
Okay.
That was me. Oh man. Yeah, it's man, even at running the 2 fixtures, man, you're still saving on electricity. It is well. I run everything here on a 220.
Yeah.
So definitely. I'm cutting, that in half again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Basically, if I run.
I got a 50 amp 240 line in my garage, and then when he put that in, he also pulled 20 amps at 120 for my fans and stuff like that. So I could fill that son of a bitch up wall to wall with LEDs and be fine on the power, but that's how much you want to pay, you know.
Right. So we might as well start just like everybody else. When exactly were you introduced to the plants? When was your first time there, brother?
Man, I'm a third generation grower, so I grew up with the plants around me, even as a little kid and stuff. My grandpa was born on the reservation, so he went to the military, all that. But growing up, he used to grow peyote. He was real big in the Indian community, so I kind of grew up in the scene a little bit. And then when I was like 14 or so, I used to smoke when I was like 12 and stuff like that, you know, with buddies. But when I was like 14, I remember trying to grow some swag seeds. We had our property, we had the fence line here, but we actually had another fence line where like years later, someone was building a house next door and they came to us and said, hey, the fence line is actually here. So we had an extra 10 feet of property. So my grandpa built another fence up there, but didn't do anything with the old fence, just left it up. So there was a space where they couldn't see. And I put a couple of plants out there by the plum trees, you know, and they grew, and then he got all pissed off, you know, like, "Oh, bringing heat to the house," type of shit, you know. But after that summer, my Uncle Paul started taking me to his farm to trim and stuff like that. He was real big in the Indian community too. So he was linked up with a lot of growers in North Cal and stuff like that. So it just got, every year it got more and more, you know. I'd start getting like a quarter pound and selling that between my pennies. And it got to be like going to these grows and trimming and then coming back with pounds, you know what I mean? Like, and back then in the 90s, like, not a lot of people sold weed, you know, there was a few people in town, you know, back in those days. So it was nice.
That's awesome, man. You know, that's one thing that I'm super excited about with the way things are going with cannabis right now is that's more of a possibility for more people, the multi-generation farmer and shit. You know what I mean? Now the fourth generation for you, if you choose, they choose to take it on.
They're already going, man.
You know, as proud as they want to fucking be with it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The three before were proud but had to hide a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep
even I had to hide a ton, you know. Even when California, like when I started growing, it was right at the start of Prop 215. So right away you had a 99 plant count, and when it first started, you had 99 plants, and you were allowed 6 pounds of dry weed. So you could pretty much drive around with 5 pounds of bud if you needed to, you know. And depending on the cop, he was going to bust you and give you a ticket or just let you slide. You know? Even when you got a ticket for possession and shit like that, you just fucking went to court and you got your shit back. So it wasn't that bad. Worst part is they would come in and chop all your plants down, and then you wouldn't get charged with anything. So it was like you were double fucked because you couldn't sue the police department for the damage to your home because there was no value. Homeowners insurance wouldn't give a value to a marijuana plant. I remember the first time someone did, they came in and they chopped down 90 plants, and that guy sued the police department and got $300 per plant, which obviously it's less than what you're gonna, you know, street value, but still at least that's something.
It's amazing to think that even today that somebody could, you know, sue to get their meds back. And you know what I mean?
It's crazy, man. But how many people die on Tylenol overdoses and, you know, all that crap every year? And you can just buy those over the counter. You can have a whole cabinet full of them if you want. Like, there's no limitations on how much Tylenol. Or I could go to the store and buy 100 cases of beer. You know, I could fill up my whole garage with beer. You know, but I can't do that with my weed. You know, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of like that here, though. I mean, still to this day, That's one of my biggest, and they're still trying to squeeze us out. They make a caregiver here in Michigan just as difficult as it could be, and now they're
Yeah.
still trying to get rid of us, and it's crazy. I mean, this is the situation here in Michigan. Basically, on hand numbers, okay, just on hand numbers. I can only have 15 because I can have two per patient, 2.5 per patient, to be clear. Uh, I can only have 15 ounces, ready ounces on hand, medically. Okay.
That's,
Now, now, listen, this is where it gets fucked, my friend. We're also able to grow 12 plants per household. Okay. Now follow me here. Recreational. If I want to party, okay, I want to grow my recreational weed, I can grow 12. And like say outdoors example here, I grow, some beets outdoors, 12 beets. And I grow,
yeah.
I harvest 50 pounds. All examples here, hypothetical. 50 pounds. Okay. I can, as long as I can say and prove that that's from my recreational grow, and I can have that. There's no qualms. No qualms.
But for a caregiver's
But
license,
don't you
medical license,
but don't you use that for medicine. You party, damn it. You fucking party.
that's insane. Prop 215 was probably the best medical program I've ever seen in any state. I was actually getting up there with it, except for the fact that you like when Prop 215 first came out, you could do your 99 plants, all that stuff. But I could walk into a dispensary, any dispensary with 10 pounds of bud or whatever the fuck you wanted to bring in there. And they could take you in a back room, look at it, and decide, okay, well, we want this. What do you want for it? And you could strike a deal up, like we used to walk in dispensaries and walk out with 30K, You can't, once rent came in, it fucked all that off.
Yeah,
it ruined everything.
It usually does. That's why I'm actually scared of it to be, go national. I'm afraid that as soon as it goes national, they're really gonna put the screws to us home growers. It sounds good until, yeah.
Live well, and if you go to my Instagram page, I keep posting about it every day. But Live Well, all these different companies, they're the people that have the money to have legislators, to have people going to Washington, D.C. and trying to get certain stuff passed, taking senators and congressmen out to lunch and buying them a hooker on the weekend, like that's how actual laws get passed. And they're right now trying to blame global warming on home growers, saying that we speed up global warming at 10 times the rate as a normal household. So now they want to blame the polar ice caps melting on fucking home growth. Where does it end, bro? You know what I mean? Like, we finally get the right to grow this plant, and then they want to come in and be like, "No, you know what? You can have weed, but you're gonna have to go somewhere and you're gonna have to buy it from someone that gives no shits about how they grow it or what they put into it."
I just want to know, who put those numbers together and realistic research there. You know what I mean? It hasn't,
Exactly.
That sounds like some inflated bullshit right there.
That's what I'm a firm believer that, of course, humans are using stuff that's causing pollution, but the planet, over hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, the planet cools off and heats up and they say that there's trees under all the ice caps up there. How the hell was there trees up there at any time if, you know what I mean, if we're causing this problem? I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion, I guess. But yeah, I got into moving weight really serious at about 18, 19 years old. I used to run teams of 3 cars up north, grab 100 to 500 cat, and come back, pay for 250 of them or so. You pay for half of whatever you're going to get. Come back with them and do 3 car loads. The middle car would have to load, and then we'll do a chase car and a rabbit car. That way, the load car is always going to land safe, you know. But I did that for quite a few years, stacked up a lot of money, and I got a trafficking case. I got pulled over with 50 pounds on my back seat. I had 32,000 cash on me, and it was a cop that I played high school football with. It doesn't get any worse, you know.
Oh man, you think you'd catch a little bit of a break there?
I wish, man. I wish. It turns out he was just the cop that showed up first, basically on the bus. But I was set up by somebody. Like somebody else had got busted, and they set me up on a bike. It was what it was, you know. Learning experience. Everyone's got to. If you're gonna play the game, you know what I mean. You got to deal with the consequences too.
Definitely happens from time to time. That's for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a firm believer. If you get caught, you better keep your mouth shut and sit down. Take your time out.
So when you has it always been outdoor grows for you guys out there?
No, I did
part of things.
Outdoors. I got some outdoor grows from like 10 years ago. I used to do YouTube like 10 years ago or so, and then I just got really freaked out by it, you know. I was in California back then. It was just like the stigma still, you know, like I was making a ton of money, so I didn't want to, you know, you don't want to make the block hot, you know what I mean?
So how was it, organics when you first got rolling there? Is that how you started it?
No. So when I first started growing, it was just hit and miss. Like I didn't really know what I was doing, you know, until my uncle started showing me stuff, and I started learning from growers that I was trimming for and stuff like that, you know. Then you really start to tune your grow in. Back then I was doing back then I was doing what they call organics now. And you guys were actually talking about it the other night. I would use Aqua Flakes A and B as my base because it was a cheap A and B base. And then for all my hardeners and sweeteners, I would use natural stuff, cantaloupe with sugar fermented, worm casting, spag stuff like that. But I actually have a grow from 10 years ago where that's what I showed I was using too on some outdoor. And I would get beautiful results. 8-9 pounds of plant, you know, just big early beast. But indoor, back then we were stealing power. It was the home I owned back home. We put my buddy's an electrician. He put this alligator clamp on before the breaker. So we ran a 240 line out to the garage of just raw power. I had 6,000 watts going out there and just rocking and rolling, you know.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. So man, that's a pretty good start right there. What kind of stuff were you growing back then? Do you remember?
So I've had a couple strains that I worked in '98 that I've kept that strain around. I have seeds. I get a few different phenos off of it. Cause I kept it at F3. So there's maybe about like 4 variations I'll get off of it or so. But I've had a few strains in my family too. My grandpa and my dad both grew California orange back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. So I actually use that because it's a really pure strain. So I've used that for breeding quite a few times because these newer strains like your wedding cakes, all these new hybrids and stuff, they'll stick really good to an older pure strain. You'll get a lot better cross out of it than you will just crossing cake and ice cream cake mixed with fucking who knows what, you know.
Man, I have never came across anything that I've been that fond of to keep you at that long. I've had some pretty good smoke too. A lot of great stuff come through my hands, but man, I'm always in hunt of that one. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And I
def-
guess by that one, I almost fucking feel like it's what's the reefer madness. That's the kind of high when I think about
want
the
to get,
one.
yeah.
That's
I want to take one puff
that's
and want to go fucking insane. Sure. I broke my back when I was 19 years old. So really, after about 20, 21 years old, and then I went and did my time. When I came out, before I went in, I had a really big prescription drug problem. When I broke my back, they put me on those oxycontins, and it was a straight downhill spiral, even worse because I had money, you know what I mean? But the whole time I was fighting that case, I stacked up as much as I could. So I could take pills while I was gone. And when I came out, I started using RSO and stuff like that for my back pain. I came out sober, obviously, but definitely not taking anything and working out and getting really fit. It definitely helps your muscles just to be fit, physically fit is, half the key, but the RSO really helped a lot. So I started going in the direction of super deep indicas. So at least 10 of my 13 crosses are super deep indicas. But when I do a cross, I'm, I'm not just crossing it like, oh, look, we got a new strain. You know what I mean? I'll work that strain for 18 months to 2 years, and get a stable strain out of it.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be, brother.
Exactly, man. That's why when I hear these dudes that are like, "Oh yeah, I got 10 different strains that have been grown 2 years," I'm like, okay, right on. It's great that they're in the community and they're trying to do new stuff. I hate seeing people waste their time with stuff. Like there's nothing worse than someone gives you something to grow out and you have a little bit of expectations for it, and then it's just some dog shit. It's like, fuck, I wasted 9 months on that.
Yeah, I power through some numbers like that. I'll go through shit. I've planted 15 different strains so far this year, but they're not all
Yeah,
going to make the cut. I'm not breeding them. You know what I mean? It's,
yeah, right. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the pollen checkers.
yeah, that's on that end of things, man. It's sad. It's sad with what's going on right now. You know, we need to, I've said this so many times. If you're gonna, a lot of people out here, if you're breeding for sustainability, you know what I mean. You gotta keep it at home, work it a few rounds,
Exactly.
keep the shit out of it. When you get
Yeah,
that winner, let us know. You
or
know,
even if you're just gonna S1 a strain or F1 it just to get a couple hundred seeds so that you can do a real female hunt. If you're really gonna plant 50 to 100 plants, you're gonna find one or two really amazing plants out of those 100. And then that's where your breeding project starts. That's the one you stick with, and you F2 it and you F3 it.
yeah. Well, I should be clear here, even though I know what I believe in. We still are working this strain for DOA that's going to be pushed through a little bit quick. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
And
Everybody's watching
sometimes
it go
sometimes you
down.
get a keeper, man. I mean, look at the
I
look
mean,
at the max strains. People are crossing that with everything, and 9 out of 10 times they're hitters.
well, I'm kind of in hopes of keeping it rolling too, though. Even though that we're gonna smack these strings together the first time, it would be nice it's a pretty close knit community, as at least the people that hang out around here anyway are, and
Yeah,
probably that would be even the seeds. So I could really see that, if somebody came across like an amazing pheno, that somebody would be kind enough to have sit back or, whatever
right?
for
Exact. That's a
phase 2
beautiful
of the
thing.
project.
That's how you keep so many strains around too. When you have a good circle like that, you could, if I come across a certain pheno that, I'm trying to pop new seeds and I just don't have the room for it anymore, I could give it to one of my buddies and they're going to keep it in their garden for a while, and then, just pass it around.
I used to have a buddy of mine he's still a buddy of mine, but I just don't, he slowed down on his growing end. So he doesn't earn the name as much anymore, but I used to call him the library because he was the one that I was always like, here, hold this for a while. I'll be back.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's my buddy Nate's like that. He doesn't know what the term plant limit is at all. But he's got acreage and he runs 6. He started out with 2 greenhouses and then every season he'll add one and then next season he'll add another. Now he's got 6 greenhouses, does like 400 or so plants in these greenhouses. But the area that he lives in, it's like no one goes there, and it's one sheriff type of town. So it's pretty amazing what he's got there.
Man, I'm still jealous and wouldn't mind getting my butt down to Oklahoma to get a taste of that unlimited plant count before it disappears, because that I would be the library at that fucking point. I seriously wouldn't even be worried about production at that point. It would come. They would be just like the fucking mixed bags they're like used to getting from me now. You know what I mean? As a caregiver, a few of these, few of those, few of this, yeah, round it out to a full one. There you go. Just be a little bit larger number, man. Just be a little bit larger numbers. But that's what I'd do, man. I would be fucking popping something, pheno, boom, popping something, pheno, boom. And I'd be like, oh yeah. I'd be more worried about being the guy with 100 strains than I would be 100 pounds.
You gotta get all your strains listed now that you're going to use. I just bought 25% into a dispensary that's in McAlester, Oklahoma, and I'm actually going to be going down there within a week. Go put all the floor drains in, and then we'll be getting final inspection on the building. But it's right on Main Street. It's in McAlester, Oklahoma. We only have about 3,500 square feet in the building, and then because of where it is, we don't have the ability to do any outdoor there. But we're looking at properties. But what happens then if you have a grow listed at the warehouse, right? Like we'll have our grow there. We'll probably only be able to do maybe 250 plants, but it's good. We're going to concentrate on small batch, super tasty, living soil, organic, just amazing crafted bud, And between me and the guy that owns 75%, and he sold 10% off to a guy too, we're all creek growers that have been doing it 20 plus years each, so it's definitely going to be a venture, but after 2 years, I'll be able to branch off and open my own 100%. I can only own 25% for the next 2 years as an out-of-state resident. But all those plant counts, all that stuff's going to change, man. They already started using the same system that California and Colorado use, so it's a matter of time. I'd say within 2 years, they're going to have that state locked down. By the time it goes red, they're going to have it locked down. But we're going to step in there and make some money right now, though.
Hell yeah, you'd be silly not to.
Yeah,
be silly not to.
So the unique thing about Oklahoma, I have a trafficking charge on my record. So no state wants to let me get into the cannabis industry. which is fucked up because shouldn't the people that spent time in a fucking jail cell over this plant be given the ability to be able to go legal? You know what I mean? Especially I have the capital to do it. You know what I mean? So it's really ridiculous. But Oklahoma has said we don't care if you have a criminal record in another state as long as no crimes were committed in Oklahoma. So when I heard this like 8 months ago, I was like, no shit. I called the city because I had this opportunity to jump into this as an investor. So I called the city in McAllister and was like, I don't want to put any money into this bullshit, and then we told 8 months down the road, oh, sorry. And I was like, lady, I've been to prison for trafficking, you know what I mean, for very large amounts. And they were like, well, what state did it happen in? I said, California. I said, we don't care what happened in California. The lady on the phone told me you could have got out of prison for murder and would still get your license as long as you haven't committed any crimes in Oklahoma.
That's pretty open. That's pretty open. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty, when I first told my wife about it, she was like my wife's a total Valley girl, she's a nurse, but she's a Valley girl. She was like, we're not moving to Oklahoma. And then on top of it, it was like, oh, we're not moving to the city. It's going to be a podunk little town. Really podunk little town. But it's unique because it's right next to all these Indian reservations, and they're screwing the reservations. They're not allowing them to go on the reservation, so they have to go buy at dispensaries. And then I've been also told it's supposed to go rec within 2 years. Dallas, Texas is an hour and 20-minute drive from Dallas. So, thank you, Texas, for staying illegal,
So is that where you're concentrating most of the efforts on now? Is Oklahoma?
Well, so I have to keep. My wife's not going down there. She's already made it clear that unless
no green acres there.
No. She's already made it clear. We're not relocating to Oklahoma, which is fine. I can go down there and get things operating, and then within a few months, which should be turning a good profit, be able to hire people, bring people in, I can bounce back and forth. I'm also trying to buy property in Arizona right now and get a building going out there on some acreage and stuff. My cousin's living out there and he's a general contractor, so it's a perfect opportunity to be able to build cheap, Just so many projects going on at the same time, and then while you're doing this stuff, something else will come along that's like too good of a deal to pass up, and you got to just, oh, well, I can make 15 grand off this, so let's just do it.
Well, the key is, keeping yourself open to new opportunities like that, I think. You know what I mean? You got too much on your plate all the time. And something
definitely.
great comes up, you're like, fuck, I wish.
Yep. But that dude Nate I was telling you about, he called me back in February and was like, hey, you need to invest in this fucking stock. It's going to go somewhere. And it was super cheap at the time. So I bought a bunch of it. I made 30K so far on crypto this year. Day trading on crypto. Like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. It's got me like looking at the stock market a whole different way. A lot of people make millions playing the stock market just when there's a presidential shit. When it's parties from Democrat to Republican, there's a lot of money to be made in the stock market. Oil's going to sell off cheaper. Solar is going to go up and down. A broad spectrum of so many things you can make a few bucks off of,
Definitely a good time. Definitely a good time. For making money, that's for sure. Especially in that aspect, as long as you can stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
I think that curve's dangerously close to washout, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. I mean, real estate's always going to be a safe investment for the long term. But I mean, I watched my parents make that big horrible mistake in California when they bought at a super low price. Uh, when the housing market skyrocketed, they refinanced at a mortgage they couldn't afford, bought a brand new camper and boat and all that stuff. And when the market crashed, they lost their ass, off their ass. That scared me though, and I never wanted to. I was scared of the stock market after that. Like, I don't want to lose everything.
Right on. So how things change from that first grow to the next grow? I mean, how long did the first grow stay like the first grow? You know what I mean? That type of setup before you kind of moved on to something different, or improved on something.
Like back in the day.
Yeah, getting going. First grow to the second. You know what I mean? Transition.
Yeah, it was really getting introduced to genetics. We didn't know what strains were back then. Like, it was always like you smoked brickweed all the time, but then every now and then someone came around with some amazing green bud, something that we would call B grade today. But back then it was like you went from brickweed that you had to pull stems and seed out of to this green bud that you could break a nug off of and put it in the bowl. Like, whoa, like it was crazy to see that shift. And then come to find out, my dad had this California orange, and he was a biker, and so he did his business with his weed. Once I started learning what my dad did on the side and pinching his grows and stuff like that, like I would get really good weed from my dad. And then once I started trimming and stuff, he really started showing me different things. He wouldn't really mentor me though. Neither with my grandpa. They both didn't want me to grow because back then it was, like you're gonna go to jail for this. So they both kind of just did their outdoor thing. I was the first generation to bring it indoors and really push that fucking genetic that they had. And when my dad saw what I was doing with his genetics indoors, he was really like okay, like let's work together now, So then it really shot off the hook there. Then I was able to go to his like my dad had this little secret cabin up in the woods, where he did his grow up in the forest, and he started taking me there. So then I trimmed for him. Then you go to these other farmers up north, and back then people kept their cuts really close. If they had a super good strain or something, they guarded that, So one year I traded 2 pounds for this OG in 98, actually in 97. And when I came back with that, we cloned the shit out of it and started doing full runs with that. And I started breeding with it and really took off. Like once those strains started, Bubba Kush,
Gotta love that bubble kush, man. Gotta love that bubble kush.
Yeah. This little girl right here is called Gift of Fire. And I've been looking for a original God's gift for years now. And this is the closest I could get to it. And it's Bubba Kush crossed with God's gift to make Bubba's gift, and then crossed with Fire OG to make Gift of Fire. But this is the pheno I ended up keeping off of it. It's fucking amazing.
Man, looks nice looking girl, nice looking plant there. Was she in a 3 gallon? Nice size.
Yeah, 3. She's in a 3. I got her about this size so I can chop her all down, I could probably get like 50, 60 cuts off of it, you know? That way, because I can never grow a strain with just one plant, you know? Like, when I grow a strain, I want at least 4 of them. That way I can get, you know, close to a pound at least, you know, of one strain. These other ones, right now I got M1000 going from Soil King. That is an AK-47 crossed with Mendo Perps. I have Purple Turban from Miss Jill Genetics. I believe that's an Afghan crossed with Mendo Perps. I got Jamatos, which is my strain. I got one auto. I've never done an auto before, so I just want to throw it in the bench. And these other ones are Swami strain, Silver Surfer Tangy. I got some of those on flower. I can go up there in a minute and check it out. But it's amazing flower. Like the bud structure on it is humongous. So I just put 12 out in a tent out there in the garage too. So I can do a full run with that. It should be like 2 weeks. The 2 weeks, my big ones will be done, and then I'll have enough room for 20 out there on that side and then 20 on another row. I just want to get to where I'm pulling like 15 pounds every 10 weeks or so. If I can get to more than a pound a week, I'll be stoked as hell out of my garage, you know?
That's pretty good. Pretty good. I run a nice little perpetual here as well. So yeah, my numbers not well, I'm close, but I'm at 72. I don't run close to that though. I try to stay under my numbers.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm not too worried about that anymore here in Colorado. My buddy just got busted 100 plants over his limit, and there's $1,000 fine. I was like, oh, okay. $1,000 fine. They tell you like if you do it again though, then you're gonna get in trouble.
That's what I, that's the same thing when I started selling, I was selling seeds here in Michigan when it was recreational took off. And I always told everybody that, oh, by the way, I don't know if you know that, but, definitely, you do get your 12 rack, but, do you happen to know what the penalty is for 24? And they'd be like, no, that'd be a misdemeanor, $250. They'd be like, really? I'd be like, yeah. It's worth it, ain't it? Worth
Hell
it,
yeah.
ain't it?
Can I just pay up front?
Yeah, right. I'll just leave one of those like mailboxes on a stick at the edge of the garden. The old honor system. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's like me and a couple people have been talking a lot on Instagram, and I'm getting connected with a lot of these bigger names. I'm going to this Turptown Throwdown. It's a cannabis cup for home growers. It's going to be in Worcester, Mass, or where it's by Boston. You know what I mean? But it's $200 to enter your shit. You bring an ounce broke down to all 28 different grams, and it's cannabis cup. And you don't have to have a huge medical grow or anything, or a huge operation license and all that shit. But I got invited to Miss Jill Genetics. It's like, no fucking way. Like, I was like starstruck, like, what? Like, hell yeah. But I've been talking a lot with like Swami too about like, why is there plant limits at all? It's such bullshit.
It is. I mean, you wouldn't put a limit on tomatoes or anything else. I mean, why does Canada
nothing? Yeah.
get signal?
Yeah. So ridiculous. It's, you know, it's, of course we know why. It's money. You know, it's money. You would figure that they
So
would
what
just
did,
want you to make that. That's more money you're going to spend in the long run.
so what is some of your favorite Turk file profiles? What is like, say, you know, what are you hunting for? You know, I mean, I know
Really,
it sounds like a silly
yeah.
question, but
Oh no, for sure, man. Hell yeah. I really like that pine. Pine is my number one terp that I love. But if I can get that like pine and spice with a little bit of that earthiness, you know, like that. Almost, I don't know how to explain it, but just like that, it tastes like you put a pile of dirt in your mouth, but like it tastes like how dirt smells, you know. Like I don't know, but yeah, I love those real deep because the last real like one that really got me was this OG marijuana. My buddy had given it to me and then gave me a cut of it and told me it's hands down the strongest thing he's ever smoked. Most couch lock are just like take one or two puffs and like you better sit down. And then he was like, don't smoke joints this when you're driving. It was like, shut the fuck up, you know, like come on. And I mean, it's a really strong smoke though, man. Like it's real dark and it looks like little mini pine trees almost, you know. But the trichome heads on it are so freaking big that you don't even really need a mic, like you can see them, you know. Like that's my favorite ever. I've bred it into 2 strains. That's one of my latest projects. I'm still going to be working that over the next year. And then I have a project that, so Flora from up north wouldn't give me the Trump line. I'm a Trump fan, but I've been talking to him for years about getting it, and he's like, no, a couple people that have it. I'm not giving it to nobody. He's suing this one guy. So the guy he's suing right now contacted me, saw me on a post, and was like, bro, I'll give you that genetic. So I got my hands on it, and I have some crosses that I want to do and release to, you know, there's only a couple people working it because the stigma, like the name Trump, you know, but if you look up what it is, it's a pheno of an old family purple. It's one of the most amazing purple strains I've ever seen in my life. CSI Humboldt is huge colas on it. Like I can't wait to mess with it.
so are you a fan of the purple smoke? I mean, in general, the purple flower.
As long as it's like a certain purple strains, you know, Granddaddy Perp, Mendo Perp. I'm not a big fan of purple. It's just it's a different purple terpene. It's a different terpene. I just don't like it too much. But that Granddaddy Purple, that was the first purple strain that came around when I was younger, and it would be like the straight purple buds, and it just has that purple taste, you know. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if it's purple weed, they just taste it like, oh shit, that's some Granddaddy Purps, you know, like I love that taste.
So I dig the pines too. That's kind of the profile I am currently on the trail of as well. And for one reason or another, you know, I'm not planning to do a whole bunch of breeding, but the Chilombium that I'm holding at the moment is part of the DOA cross, is known for those pine terps.
Oh,
and,
nice.
A lot of what you're talking about. In fact, that's what it says it says pine, earthy, spicy. It's fucking. That's how it's labeled.
Yeah, I would love to run that. That would be awesome. Oh yeah.
So that's Colombian by North Stars, who originally bred that out, and so I've got that up here, and I had a cracked 10, I believe it was, for one of them. I actually, when transplanting, fell over and kind of fucking 90'd that motherfucker and kind of babied it. Didn't make it. One of them kind of came up and kind of fizzled out. That was probably more my fault than anything. So I ended up with 8, 6 females, 2 males, 2 nice looking fellers up there. And then I've got 2 Xmas males up there as well, which is another piney strain. So I think
Nice.
somehow, some way, I'm gonna, concoct something over here, if anything, for myself. And I'm sure some of that pine will come through in that DOA cross. That'll be the Columbium times Jack Skellington, the old TGA strain there. So
if you
North Stars, Columbia.
Save your original pollen so that you can cross it back into it. So if after you F1 it, if you take that original pollen and then sprinkle the plants again on your next run, you're going to have an F2. That plant's going to produce F2 seeds. So if you pheno hunt that F2, you're going to be able to, your F1 is going to have characteristics from the parents. But then when you F2 it, you're going to get characteristics from the grandparents, all kinds of stuff. And then if you pheno hunt that F2, you can find exactly what you're looking for, if you have the space.
Oh yeah. Well, that's hopefully that will work, through. As I was talking the other day, we were talking about, running it down the lines a little bit. Because like I said, I've got a couple males, and Smiley's the other half of this. He's working the Jack Skellington end of it. And he, so we're kind of thinking about, or I'm thinking about, taking, whatever male he has and smacking it both ways, one and one, and then maybe working one and then working the other, then finding the winners out of that, smacking them 2 together for the next phase of it all, which is going to obviously be some time. So, you know what I mean? So it'd be fun to see how that works out. And, we can keep it all going like that. That'll be the interesting thing.
Yeah,
and, I don't think, there's been a lot of community projects, but I don't think there's ever been like something that's been worked and put forth as a free community project. You know what I mean? Everything
maybe like when Sub first started out, like with his close friends, like, that's how the Green Avengers started, and it turned into a seed bank operation. But yeah, hell yeah, that's badass. Okay.
Miss old Subby. Miss it.
I like that Miss Jill took over TGA seeds. So for a while you couldn't get anything from them. You just had to get it off auctions and stuff like that. But she's bringing it back to all these shows and like really putting it out there again.
It's been out there for a while. After the fire there, it got a little hard to get, but they continued from they pulled back from old sources. They continue there for a while until they could regroup some of the males and females to recreate what they had. That's
right.
For sure.
Yeah. She has a lot of bangers too. I love all the old school breeders up there. Like every time I order genetics, I'll resell on Instagram and stuff like that too. But I always I'll get ethos and stuff like that, and then I'll order some stuff from NorCal. And it sucks because most of the breeders up there aren't hip to the like, hey, we want freebies. Like me reselling, that's where I make my money is off the freebies, because I can sell those for a few bucks too. But they have awesome genetics, but they don't give free shit.
Oh man, I love the free shit.
Mm-hmm.
Before I forget, Miranda Family Farms wanted me to ask you if you were going to be vendoring at that event in Mass. There, I forgot the actual name of the event.
It's called Turptown Throwdown. It's a 2-day event. So July 18th, for anyone that's interested in entering their home grow bud, July 18th is the intake day where you have to turn in your stuff. And then I believe it's August 21st and 22nd, or it's the 20th and 21st. It's one of those days though. But if they look it up, Turptown Throwdown on Instagram. They don't have any booth stuff, but I am gonna bring a shit ton of shit and just hand them out. You know what I mean?
Well, the more people that we get growing, the more freebies that we get out there, it's only going to benefit us.
Definitely. Oh, definitely, man. Oh yeah.
As I was talking to a doctor the other day, it was funny to see the revelation on their face when we were talking about cannabis, getting it growing, getting everybody growing. And they were like, well, once everybody gets, it's going to be harder to stop. And I'm like, exactly. That's why we need to get as many people growing now. So
you would hope so, man, but
close the door.
Who knows? Like, compare it to gun rights. You know what I mean? There's 90 million registered gun owners, but they try to take that away just as actively as they're trying to take away home grows. That was one of our original rights, like, come on. Who knows, man? I mean, we all have to remember that America as a nation is still a baby, This is such a young nation. We're just starting out. We're, a couple hundred years old. Like, it's not even really like that old. History always repeats itself too. So who knows, they might step over the boundary with a couple things they do and it could cause a revolution, and who knows what that's going to look like today, who knows. That's one reason. I mean, we're kind of like preppers type of stuff, but I keep a huge library of genetics, man. The thousands of strains that I haven't ran before either.
I think my mouse is fucking dying. It's a little slow on the go. So, yeah, and it is, I honestly think, and I've said this many, many times, that recreation isn't nothing but a ploy from Big Pharma to kind of legalize cannabis so they can, put their money in, hedge their bets in there. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole new market that they can make money off of. And soon as that happens, that's gonna, that once recreational wins, then that'll ease up the medical, fight against them. You know what I mean? They don't want to give up the big pharma, the pills. They want the recreational side, the party side that we talked about. Yeah, we can make money off of that too. And by, pushing the rec through, then as we have already talked about, eliminate that home grow. And once you eliminate the home grow, and now they're like laughing at you. Medicine what? Medicine what? You can't, you know what I mean? Nobody's talking about medicine because you can't grow that shit.
Yeah, it's scary because you can see the path that they're lighting up their path that they want to take with it. They know how much money is involved in this stuff. Like, it's been 10, 15 years, and they're seeing what some states are pulling in hundreds of millions of dollars just in tax revenue. Like, you can't ignore that, But that's the shitty part It's fucking every dispensary that opens up, they're taking money out of the black market's hands that was in that community before, you know, and then the limitations, and it's always medical's always better.
Yeah, I would still hope that you know, I still say that medical should have, you know, made the wave first, and should still, you know, that should be priority over, you know, the party.
Exactly.
The
Yeah,
aspect
exactly.
of it.
I just don't think there should be any regulations whatsoever on it. And it's a fucking natural plant that just grows here, you know, like it's perfect environments for it. Like in the 20s, they had to eradicate miles and miles of hemp and cannabis along like the Potomac River and places where it'll grow naturally all year round, you know, Southern California, Oregon. It's ridiculous. That's we've seen the same thing being from the Indian community with peyote, you know. My uncle Paul, he got busted. It was the largest peyote bust in U.S. history. Was him and my uncle Buzz, and they were leaving my grandpa's house, and they were headed to Sundance, which is a huge Indian gathering. You know, it's a huge religious event. But they got pulled over. They got everything confiscated from them, arrested. It took them over a year fighting this case, but they finally won. You know what I mean? But for what? You know, it's a plant that they've been using for fucking thousands of years for exactly what they're doing for spiritual purposes, you know? And then we just come along and get to make these rules for other people. Like, oh, no, this plant, you can't have this plant, but you can have this plant. We can have this plant that kills fucking how many people the cigarettes fucking kill a year, you know? But this hasn't killed anyone, you know? Makes you so mad, man. It's,
So let me ask you this: what would be your the product cannabis made that you've been most impressed with? And that I'm eliminating like medical use, and I'm kind of talking more about textile products. You know what I mean? Things that can be made from the plant. You know what I mean? As you know, a byproduct. What's the one thing that you know has most impressed you? Like, hemp cannabis can make that shit too. You know what I mean? Has there been something like that?
You can make everything out of it. I mean, running your cars on it, but that's probably one of the reasons it's illegal, is because it has so many uses. You know, you can make gas out of it. You know, he could heat your house with it. You can make clothes out of it. And that's really why it became illegal when it did. It was also a racial push. Of course, it was racially motivated too. But if you look at the timeline when Harry Anslinger teamed up with DuPont Chemical Company to really make it illegal and use their media propaganda with the Hearst newspapers, it was when the decortifier came in. So it went from having to use slave labor to process hemp to being able to use a machine to process the pulp, and in turn you can make cotton, or you can make the same shirts and stuff like that. But it was really bringing it a new age. And then you look at when the patent for the decortifier came out, and that's the same year they really started pushing to make marijuana legal. And it was all funded by the DuPont Chemical Company because they had fields of cotton, and cotton's value would have just took a hit, you know, would have went under.
Oh, there have been a lot of industries, you know, the petrol industry, the plastics, you know, there's and again, DuPont had their, you know, has their hand in plastics as well. It wasn't just on, you know, cotton. It was, you know, it was a huge threat to them. And that says a lot to what fucking propaganda can do. You know what I mean? How do you fucking really erase 1,000 years of medical benefits and people passing it on from generations to generations? Oh, this has, medical benefits to fucking reefer madness, and everybody's like, really? You know what I
They
mean?
just
Without
hook, line, and sinker, They just took it. It's just how gullible people are.
That's what they're trying to do in a lot of ways today. We won't dive down deep in that rabbit hole, but I think you kind of know what I'm talking about there. And it's sad that propaganda can be force fed down people's throat like that, and people just hook, line, and sinker.
They could tell you a direct. They could look at. They could probably push the fact that the sky is purple. Half the population would agree. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a powerful tool.
So it's a beautiful thing that it's starting to come unraveled on them, but we haven't won the fight yet. I mean, not yet. We haven't even won the medical fight, and that was like the first fight issue. You know
we haven't even won the fight, and they're trying to take it away already. Like we're still in the fight, and they're trying to sweep it out from under our feet. And I heard that they're trying to push the global warming. Like,
it's just crazy all itself too. But man, we've talked about, we haven't even got into mass producing of the textiles and stuff of just hemp and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We're not even
those plastic bottles they're making. They're like biodegradable within like 90 days or something like that. The hemp water bottles, like they're pretty dope.
I wasn't sold by the hemp straws though. I seen some of them the other day, and they were like a paper straw. And I'm like, hey, I'm all about trying to make as much shit as I can about cannabis.
Right.
But at some point,
Well, you know what they're doing with plastics now, right? They're turning plastic into jet fuel. So at least plastic isn't as bad as it was if they're using it for jet fuel. I don't know. Maybe we can power these airplanes with plastic.
That'd be fucking pretty cool. Burn up some of that supply around the fucking world.
Right. Then 10 years later, they'll be like, man, we really screwed ourselves burning all that plastic. Who knows, man?
So do you have any interest in the CBD or / hemp side of things yourself?
So I do like the benefits of CBD. I'm interested in working. I think is it Charlotte's Web? I believe it's a 10% by 10% THC to CBD. I'd be interested in working with something like that in the future. It's just a space issue, you know what I mean? But I have thought about like you see a lot of people talk about opening up a CBD farm, and so I've heard that there's a couple loopholes, and you could grow your stuff all year, and then at the end of the year you test it, and if it comes out 17% THC, they're going to tell you, hey, you have to dispose of all that. They don't say how you have to dispose of it. I think put it in turkey bags.
Yeah, it's a goofy system, but yeah, I'm hoping that at least some good terps profiles will come out of all that minimum.
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing is like, I want to know how many people are getting ripped off. You know what I mean? Because I heard a couple people in New York were pushing CBD bud as weed, and who knows? Maybe if you grow it indoors, it looks just as good. Maybe taste and all that stuff. Like, I don't know.
You can buy fucking CBD bud from tobacco shops here in Michigan.
Yeah,
and it actually doesn't look all bad. I've actually bought this eighth of it. I think it's like $15 or something like that
Nice.
for Pineapple Express or some shit like that. It didn't taste like Pineapple Express, not
No.
even close.
Well,
But
they
I
probably
don't know.
don't cure it and all that stuff either, right? They probably just shuck it and bag it.
Man, I wouldn't call it cigarette grade. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I would. You know what I mean? It was.
Right.
I would have gave it a good alternative to that, but it did kind of seem to bring down like the anxiety. You know what I mean? It did have a slight calming effect to it. It wasn't horrible, I guess. But
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
I got hash and everything up there, CBD hash and all that. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty. I'm not paying what you want for that to try it.
No. Yeah. My stepson, he's been with this girl for like 6 years, and she has a terminal illness. And she's a maybe 90 pounds soaking wet. You know, it's a little tiny thing, but she has to smoke so much, and she's allergic to opiates, so she has to smoke so much wax and rosin and stuff like that. It takes a lot of RSO. It makes her so damn loopy. That's when I started learning about the CBD, because she gets CBD crystals, and if she takes like 4 or 5 dabs for pain relief, she can take a dab of CBD crystals, and it really mellows her out and brings her high back down a little bit, but she still gets all that pain relief, you know?
Yeah, it definitely works, man. I'm guilty of a large dose of CBD before the tat sessions are usually pretty helps a lot. Helps a lot too, longer sittings for sure.
Yeah. I have some of the CBD bombs and stuff, and I get the CBD oil for the pets. They take one of the enzymes out of it. There's one enzyme in it that's not good for pets' stomachs, but they take that enzyme out of it. And I did a job for these people in a factory, like I do plumbing side jobs and stuff like that. So we did this couple fixtures for these guys, and that's what they did is they run a warehouse, and they have CBD bombs and like oils and stuff. And I pulled the muscle in my back like 3 months ago, and I was in pain, and I started using that CBD balm, and you get instant relief, man. Like it felt better instantly.
That shit does work for real. Again, I had some similar to that effect. I had Hope Farms on the show, which is and they don't necessarily geared towards 100% CBD. She kind of yelled at me one day when I tried to get her on the show because she does help with a lot of cancer, RSO stuff like that, and I tried to get her on the show to talk about CBD, and she's like, "It takes more than just CBD to cure cancer. It's got to be a whole plant." I'm like, "That's what I want to hear. Bring it to the show. Bring it to the show."
Yeah.
But she sent me like this balm stick that they make. It's just like almost like a deodorant stick almost, but it's a balm. And just coincidental, man, I had fucking did something to my neck. I know what I did to my neck. I was fucking working the heavy bag and I didn't fucking stretch before, just being an ass about it. And it fucking jammed up my fucking neck. And fucking it was locked up for a fucking few days, man. And man, I got that thing in the mail and I was like, I fucking rubbed that shit out. It was like 45 minutes. It was like neck cracks and fucking it just faded. I was like, oh, thank you. I immediately got on there. I was like, thank you. Your shit works, man. I love this.
Oh yeah.
Them bombs do work, man, for sure.
Right. And then that's just like people like doing stuff like small time, you know what I mean? Like imagine if they were like, we're not allowed to federally do research on the plant, Like imagine if you were really able to federally do some research on this thing and put some big money behind it you might be able to find a fucking cure for cancer. You know, like it's not that far off, man. Like they've already deemed that high levels of RSO can eat cancer cells. Like if I ever get cancer, bro, I'm eating bowls of RSO.
You know, I honestly don't understand why, as a lot of us as growers, we don't, take as, portion of what we got and make some and either keep it on hand and take that small amount like daily as like a fucking vitamin or a preventative.
Yeah, dose
or,
every day. Yeah.
just keep it on hand in case a loved one or whatever has that moment. You know what I mean? Have emergency break glass. I'm ready. Come on, take. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fuck cancer. I'm ready.
Yep, exactly,
Day
man.
one.
My buddy Nate up here, he's part of this website and stuff. He found this lady that at the time when he met her, she was trying to make food for people and sell it to be able to trade for RSO or any type of herb that they could make RSO for her husband that has cancer. So we started donating. We both press rosin, so we started donating all of our pucks, save them up, and then give this dude a mason jar, and he'll make a ton of RSO for himself out of them. But definitely, bro, like just to help someone out that they don't grow. You know what I mean? They have because of their situation, they can't grow. You know, but to be able to help someone out like that, you know, it's like it brings a really warm, fuzzy feeling to me, you know.
Damn, that mute's got me. I don't know how many fucking times today. Oh man, I absolutely agree. So, what is your favorite ingestion method for cannabis? Is it dads? Is it edibles or just flower? Good mix of all three.
Yeah, yeah, probably a mix. You know, I like to smoke out of my pipe or a bubbler or something like that. Just to feel like you really get to taste the weed. You know, way more out of a pipe or something like that than a bong or something. I go through like a circle, you know, for a month or so. I'll have a thing for rolling joints, you know, put a little wax in there or something, and then I'll use a bubbler for a month or so, and then I'll get a hair up my ass and clean my bong and start using that again, you know. Dabs just kill me though, man. Like I got a bunch of diamonds and sauce, and I think I got my buddy came over and gave me 80 grams. He has a dispensary out here, and they don't have a processing license though. So he takes all of his trim and small buds and stuff like that, and pays a processor to process it for him. They drank over 80 grams of diamonds and sauce the other day, all packaged up in boxes. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It's like I had all my stuff processed with these people, you know. Like, damn, it all gets lab tested and everything. Like, watch, I'll go grab one real quick. Hold on.
Cheers, everybody. Sergeant Pepper, Sister Golden Hair, Disbanded Brothers, Sergeant Pepper 420, Twisted Roots, Captain 420, Red Primo, Disbanded Brother, Modern Genetics, Martial Arts 2012. I threw that feed pickup just for you and your meme. Hopefully you snagged it. Who else we got? Hawaiian Sustainable, Top 4 Genetics. Cheers to you guys. What are you smoking on? Canna Trooper, I can't believe I missed you. What's up, brother? Got both of them in the house. What's up, Canna? Might as well tag them both. Oh, cheers, guys. What are you smoking while we're waiting for Big Bob Gross to go grab his sample for us? What up, guys? What up? Glad you guys all showed up. 75 of you cool folks watching. Deeply appreciate that. Cheers, Dr. Joinsworth. Thank you for joining us as well. Spiky Pilots. Cheers, my friend. Cheers, my friend. Keep watching for that shirt. Hopefully it will pop up, my friend. I've got faith. I've got faith Twin Flame Farms, how you doing? Is that you? Is that you, Chad Westport? Twin Flame Farms. What up? Cheers.
Have a drink there too. Yeah,
What's
so
that?
I had to grab a drink there too. So each box has 8 grams in each box. But that's the only thing is they're packaged in grams though. But it's pretty tight. Like he can do this for me too, you know, like he can take my stuff and have them process it for me. So I can get diamonds and sauce, or you can get rosin or whatever, you know.
That's pretty awesome. That is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
I just like that it's like you can get it all lab tested, you know what's in it, you know, like pretty cool.
We're definitely coming a long way, that's for sure.
That's a good investment for Oklahoma too, is I believe there's only one, there might be 2. There's only 1 or 2 labs that can do the testing on the stuff there. So someone's got the market cornered, you know.
It's I always talk to about you know, actually old school or even just bubble hash being passed over. Seems like Dabs showed up and rosin showed up, and it just jumped leapfrog like old school hash, man. Like, people today, you bust out a nice hunk of bubble hash in front
Some
of
people don't even know
a
what it
younger
is.
crowd or whatever. Yeah, they don't even. They look at you like you just brought out some opium or something. They're like, "What the fuck is that, man?
No, I
This
know
is the
exactly
good
what
shit,
you mean,
man."
My daughter's 18. She's about to be 19, and of course she's been smoking for a few years, but she tried to keep it hidden from me and my wife type of stuff, you know. But then when she turned 18, she was like, I was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" You know, she was like, "We're gonna get some weed." It's like, what? You know. So now when she comes over, she pitches all my stuff, you know, and it's just funny that the strains that they try to get me to grow. My buddy's really like this stuff. Can you grow this? You know, I'm like, no, that's all hype, but it's just all name.
A lot of that. That's for sure. I think it's funny that she's trying to get you to grow. What she hears instead of what Dad knows. That's for sure.
Right.
That's funny.
That's I'm setting her up a grow. We're helping them get a house, and then all of her little buddies are but I'm gonna help her set up a grow. I was actually talking to Miss Jill about my daughter. I'm going to bring my daughter out to that Turktown grow down. And anytime you tell her about a female in the cannabis industry, she's 100% behind it, like she's awesome, but she's really like, oh man, you need to get her to, do this, push this stuff, like it's just amazing, like what's it going to be like in 20 years, compared to what it was 20 years ago.
Oh man, the thought of being able to teach my kids as they get older and want, my kids aren't kids, and probably, they're only kids because I can call them my kids because they're my fucking kids, but they're 26, 22, and fucking 18, and they're not kids. At that age, I was pissy. If you fucking called me a kid back then, oof, that was where I almost fucking fighting words back
right?
then, man.
Oh yeah. Back when you knew it all, right?
I laugh about those days now, especially as I'm in the same field. I remember fucking one of my mentors as a carpenter. and took me under his wing. He used to give me a lot of shit like that, call me kid and shit when he fucking man. One day I come off the ladder and I was like, hey man, I ain't no fucking kid, fucking what the hell's around? And now I catch myself, kind of saying it not in a mean way, but just saying it. Then I get that flashback of me coming off the ladder there, and I'm like, what a dick.
And we were the generation in the trades that got screwed though, man. Like when we came into the trades, it was definitely you got screwed with for a few years, like you got messed with a little bit to make sure that you were gonna stick around, a little hazing.
I still today will nail your bags to the fucking top of a truss up sometimes if you're a new guy. Hey, go climb for them things, yeah. Let's see if you're a climber.
Man, I'll start pulling some jokes on these kids, and I took a job at this one company as a general foreman, and the first week there, I had this kid that like every time he told this kid to do something, he would do the like, oh you motherfucker, like there's nothing that gets to me more than that shit. Even if you go do a good job at whatever you're supposed to do, like what the hell, like if you have a shitty attitude, you're gonna always have a shitty attitude. So I told this kid one day, like all day we sent him looking for, first it was a bucket of steam. I was like, go get a 5-gallon bucket of steam. We're going to be testing the steam lines. So this kid's like running around, like asking, where's a bucket of steam? So everyone's fucking with him. And we had to look for the pipe stretcher, everything. But he went and told the boss on us. Fucking that dude came unglued. Like, I'm paying this much money for this. I'm like, bro, kick back. Like, get the fuck out of here. I ended up loading my bags and fucking quitting on them. But like, that's the way you're supposed to do it,
Oh man, shout out to you fucking plumbers too, man. You guys can handle that fucking money. Oh man, so many times I've been in tight places just going, oh jeez, man. Today, as a matter of fact, because I still, dabble in trades a little bit. There's a hungry market right now. Nobody wants to do that shit, and unfortunately, I will, the price is right, I will show up. And I just fucking
if there's money involved. Yeah.
Second one in like a month. A full bathroom, whole, shower and shit. And they had a pedestal sink in there. And I was, reattaching it to the plumbing that was there. Fucking lines in short. And then fucking just hugging everything into that pedestal. Oh man, I fucking every obscenity. I'm glad the homeowner wasn't there because it's one of the moments where you're like, motherfucker, just trying to get that first spin on that. You know what I mean? That first thread
just get
on that bitch. Just I was one step away from trying to like sit Indian style under there with it fucking balanced on my head so I could pull the pedestal out, you know what I mean? Just to get everything going so I could shove it back together, man. I was that close. So, fuck that, man. You plumbers got all my respect for that shit, man. Oh,
I've done commercial plumbing and pipe fitting my whole life. In the last few years, I've dabbled in doing side jobs. I actually just pulled a permit today for this lady that I only try to do side jobs for growers now. So I only work on recommendations from other people recommending me, but they always pay cash up front. Everything, there's always never a problem, like they pick their stuff out. And then half the time we end up trading genetics and shit too, like it's fucking nice. But I don't want to do turd chase stuff.
Oh man, no, I wouldn't either.
No, it's nice being able to work with your hands like that. Carpenter, it's what you gotta know. Good carpenter, like they can build anything, like fuck, that's bitching.
Yeah, fuck that woman though. So that's an art, man. In my opinion, man. There's too many times, man. Like when you're like piecing old shit together, you know what I mean? You're tying back into something. I had to fuck around. You kind of talk about turd chaser, man. Oh my god, I had septic problems this year, man. I had both coming out of the house to the tank was reduced, and I had to put that back together. And you know what I mean? When you got two ends and you just gotta like flex everything back together and shit, hope you've got enough going there to grab and shit. That shit's tough, man. I didn't know.
You gotta use repair couplings. So they make these couplings that are called repair couplings, but a lot of people don't know about it. So a usual fitting would be like say this is the fitting, you know, in the middle of the fitting, there's going to be a little catch, you know, but a repair coupling, you could slide that son of a bitch wherever you want it. So you get your one side in there and then slide the repair coupling, glue that son of a bitch on.
Good to know, man. Yeah, I fucking. Oh. And even at that, man, I today again, I had to tie into the old shower into or because it was a tub and now it's a shower, so I had to tie in the new drain. And man, I buy extras like two of these, two of those, all that shit can go back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even at that, like I said, there was that one point where you have to, you know.
Right?
Close your eyes open, fucking fits before it grabs.
Right? I did a job like that, and we were adding a bathroom into this lady's basement, so we had her whole concrete tore up and everything. And the existing spot where we could tie in, it was 45, and there was no play, you know, whatsoever. Couldn't even get a repair coupling in there. I told her, like, hey, I know, like, I've worked on these big companies, so I know the inspectors out here, like, pretty well. And I was like, I know what inspector's going to show up for this city, and we're going to use fern coats on this son of a bitch. Those are just they're rubber, you know, basically a rubber coupling that you fucking put your fucking straps on each side and fucking tune it down, you know.
With that kind of knowledge of water flow and pipe fitting and shit like that, have you ever thought about like an undercurrent system, you know, where they're all tied into one main, you know, tank and just flow together? You know what I mean? Them setups
like empty buckets or something.
No, they're basic one system, but there's a pipe that connects all of them together. So there's kind of a water current that flows from one to the other.
Just a recirculating line. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of stuff to clean to me.
I'm sure. But they do, man, when they're set up right, man, they kick, man. Like DWC kind of setup.
Yeah, DWC, you could really pull some weight off that stuff, man. But it also like I enjoy growing in soil because if I would have to, I have to leave town for 3 or 4 days or even a week or two. I can have my daughter come over, and it's a super simple. The nutrient line I use is super simple. You know, I use this Lotus now. It's either a feed or a water, you know. So I just feel like if something goes wrong like that, though, like I'll be able to fix it when I get home. You know, it's soil. But DWC, like, man, if I leave for a few days and something goes wrong, like there goes the whole crop.
Yeah, that's kind of. I've been running cocoa for years. You know, I started a little bit dirt. It was too heavy for the setup that I was running. It was really, you know, literally too heavy. So I just switched over to trying to find lighter mediums. I ended up into cocoa and stayed that way for a while. Now, you know, I did a little bit of experiment with Smiley there, kind of the earth boxes there. He actually brought me some dirt filled. Try it. They actually worked pretty good. So now I'm kind of like bringing back the soil a little bit because now I'm back on hard ground. I'm not necessarily worried about weight.
Right.
I can bring back the soil a little bit, and with that, I'm hoping to kind of much of the same thing, be able to get a little bit of a cushion from my daughter who's in chat right now. What's up, Lexi? Fucking
What up? What up?
you know, a little bit of water in here and there so I can, you know, take on some other tasks, you know.
Yeah, or, you know, even if you just want like, fuck, man, we worked hard as shit. You know what I mean? Like, we should be able to enjoy the benefits from what we've built so far. Like, if I wake up one day and want to fucking tell my wife, hey, let's go to Vegas tonight. Let's stay there for 2 nights, you know, like, but that's the beauty, you know, we can do that type of shit now.
Like, yeah, I'm actually hoping to make it down to the Vets Grow Cup there in August. I think it's like August 14th, 15th, something like that. And so it'd be nice to actually, I haven't been able to I've been doing this 20 fucking years. And how many vacations have I had? 20 fucking years? Zip.
Right.
You can't step away. So it'd be
Probably
fucking
all
nice
work
to
vacations, you know.
yeah, have something like that. Just be able to leave the fort, know everything's gonna be. That's where that next gen's gonna be. Hopefully, come in handy. You know, I wouldn't force it on the girls, but if they're interested, I'm trying to lower my. I've got one that's left in us, you know, and it lives downstate, and both her and the boyfriend are both cannabis users. And I'm like, come on up here. I'll teach you both how to grow.
Yeah, that's my stepson's paying $50 an eighth back home when he goes to the dispensary. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, even if you wanted to buy out here in Denver, you can go get some really quality, good flower for $125 an ounce. You know, like, I'm like, come out here. I'll set you up a grow. You know, we'll get you a perpetual harvest going where you're pulling 5 pounds every 6-7 weeks. You know, like, you know, he's got that girlfriend. She's got her family, obviously. So it's a tough situation for him. But my daughter's like, she's in it to win it, Brad. She is fucking crazy. Like, little blonde girl, just like fucking. I want to grow the best weed on the planet. I'm like, fuck, all right.
It made me fucking tear up.
Oh yeah, man. Hell yeah. I got my 10-year-old, that's my youngest right now. I got a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old. And my 13-year-old doesn't, he'll look at the plants and like, oh, you know, that's cool. But my 10-year-old, like, he'll ask questions, you know, like, well, what is that? You know, like, what is this? Like, he's super into gardening in the backyard, the vegetables and stuff. And I'm like, man, this kid's gonna be something special. I'm gonna turn him into my protege. Fucking him and my daughter, man. Hopefully they don't try to take it away from us.
I know that'd be bullshit. I mean, that I never thought I'd be able to see cannabis at this point where it's at now, to where we can grow, but much less the thought of being able to, you know, legally pass it on as you know, a profession, a career, hobby, however you want to, you know, keep it growing is amazing. You know, I would, even as we were talking there, I kind of was thinking, you know, about the oldest girl, getting her back up here. You know, I was thinking that would be awesome, man, if at one point I could, you know, spread the wings that deep to where all 3 girls were caregivers. They talk about being able to fucking carry a library at that point. You know, you get all 3 girls caregiver, fully carded.
Exactly.
Shit, then now you got a little network. A family network. That'd be awesome. Right?
And then rent a couple houses out just to do rec there too. It's never enough, I think, you know, like you get to do 70. Like when I first came here, my license was 24. And then it was like, yeah, you know, you could do a decent amount of stuff with 24 plants, you know. But then when I found out I could get a 75 in the city where I live, was okay with 75 because you can get it, but certain cities won't let you do it. I was like, oh shit. Now that I'm at 75 for a while, I'm like, man, I really miss those 99 days in California, you know? Like,
Oh man, it'd be nice to have 99, but yeah. My answer to that was kind of, when I first started, it was all about, man, I won't bullshit anybody. When fucking, oh, I did it before I could anyway. I, yeah. But once it became legal and I had numbers to watch out for, I pegged the numbers for as long as I could. You know what I mean? But as I've, grown a little bit older and, wiser, I've found that, I can slow things down, grow a little bit bigger plants, keep a little bit better numbers and use, you know what I mean? Not all my numbers for flowers, but keep, better numbers for library and veg, if you know what I mean. Keep the, the larger amount of
just keep loading something.
keeping things rolling. But grateful nonetheless, man. I never thought it'd be here.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy, man. I was pretty unique to, I had a sheriff on the other side of my family, on my mom's side of the family, that he would get drunk and tell us where their Cessnas could fly because Ventura County is backed up to 80,000 acres or whatever of Los Padres forest. Springs and creeks everywhere, man. Like trout fishing all over the place. Like, but not a lot of people go back there that deep, you know. Like if you trek back there for a few days, you're not going to see people. But he used to tell us where their Cessnas would fly and where they had to turn around because they didn't have enough gas to get out this far. You know? So we used to go out there and gorilla. And like a couple years, I went out there when we were trying to build our family. You know, I'm like, hey, here's some money for a while, babe, but I'm gonna go stay in the hills with my buddy in the tent for 6 months, and we're gonna come back with 500 pounds of fucking weed. You know, and fucking 100 pounds of weed is life changing if you're that young. You know, even doing them at $700-800 a pound for decent outdoor. You know, you're looking at 700K. You know.
Yeah, I miss those days actually.
Yeah.
Days. $80 ounces and shit.
The
Still
$4,500.
I don't want to see it. You know what's funny is I don't want to. I remember $80 ounce days, but I would fucking cry to see $80 ounce days today.
Man, that's how it is out here. You're in Colorado. You're lucky if you're getting 16, anything 16 to 2,000, like that's top. You know what I mean? Like there's so many. This state's unique. There's a lot of licenses to be had. So they'll license, like for example, they'll license 1,000 facilities, right, to grow when there's only 100 facilities to retail it. You know, so there's a huge black market here. So the little guy here's got to either have the fucking straight fire shit you ever seen, or you got to compete with these fucking dudes that are pushing out, push indoor out at fucking 1,500-1,600 pounds, you know?
I've said too that, it's grateful that I am, for the time that we have with cannabis and, the legalities of it all. I kind of fucking miss, I still kind of miss the fucking outlaw days of it. There was something about that feeling that, doing something wrong, whatever. Now, I ride with fucking people that to this day, other caregivers, and they're, you got your stuff on this? Is it in the trunk or whatever? I'm like, man, I stopped being nervous about this a long time ago. Shit, this being legal now, I throw it. A lot of times I'll throw it right in the fucking passenger seat. Fucking, whatever. Fucking, man, yeah, that's more
First time I got
I
pulled
almost
over.
do.
When I first came to Colorado, it was for a job. So I was working for a DM job out here, and me and my buddy that he bring me onto the job. After the game, we were going to, or after work, we were going home to go get ready and go to Rockies game. On the way to the Rockies game, we get pulled over. Dab rig is in the fucking cup holder. I had like a whole thing of joints. Like I was rolling joints on the way to the bank he was driving. So I had weed all over me, you know, like a pretty big bag. The cop was like, going a little fast right there when you're getting off the highway, you know, license registration. Does his whole thing. Doesn't say a word about the dab rig, the weed, nothing. Like, hey, you guys smoking? Nothing, bro. Gives him his license back. Like, hey, keep it down, you know. I was like, I love Colorado, bro.
It was funny because I told like, yeah, it's like almost a similar story to my daughter Lexus today, who's, you know, getting older. She's 22. She's a 22. And she's just now getting into cannabis more and more, where she's smoking more and more. And she was thinking about buying that lockbox, you know, to carry and shit like that.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, wise that you want to do it. I'm like, man, but legally, you can carry it too, you know. Oh, you can walk around with 2 ounces. Fuck, man, you know, don't sweat that shit. And I was telling her about getting, you know, I got pulled over recently, and it was, they left, you know, the stupidest shit. It was for a tail light, you know, stupid things that, you know, you should know better. And it was funny because I just come from the fucking grocery store and a load of fucking dirt in the bag. You know, comes out, you know what? And I was smoking a joint when he fucking passed me. He come by me and I was like, oh, fuck. It fucking flipped. Which is usually what the fucking worth the flip, you know what I mean? That should be a telltale for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I seen them lights spin around, and that's when I made the flip. I was like, fuck. He come flying up. He's like, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, and I was waiting for him, you know, to say something about smoking or something. He's like, that tail light. And I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, cool. You know what I mean? And you know, first thing now, like, you know, do you got proof for insurance with that? He's like, are you a grower? And I'm like, you know, like I'm gonna lie to him, man. You know,
I don't know.
fucking dirt and grow supplies in the back of the fucking truck. Yeah,
I grow
of course I'm
tomatoes.
a grower. He's like, is there weed in the truck? And there's a fucking ounce in the passenger seat. Just bang right there, right out in the open. And I'm not worried about it because it's not rolled up or nothing. You know what I mean? It's not fucking drive and smoke ready, even though I was smoking. You know what I mean? He's like, and I had 3 garbage bags that had blankets in the bag. And he looks at me and he says, is that weed? Are those weed? I'm like, no, man, you want to fucking liquor? You fucking nuts. And he fucking goes back to the car and fucking comes back and he's like, get that tail light fixed. Didn't even bother to, when he seen the ounces, he's like, is that it? And I'm like, yeah, that's it. He fucking didn't even bother to, you know, fucking with
Is
that.
it the bales in the back?
Yeah, get that tail light fixed. So I was like, oh shit. That we've definitely come, you know, a long way. And another thing that I've noticed up here, because I've been again pulled over for that fucking speeding fucking bullshit. I'm a little bit of a lead foot, and that's funny too because you know, even back then, you know, I still speed. You know, with
a load.
They're looking for the overcautious fucker that looks nervous, the asshole that's blown. But man, I've been pulled over and they're like same thing, you know, because I you know, nice guy myself. And any weapons in the vehicle? Straight on the console. Right here. Any guns? No? Really? They didn't even fucking like, not even like, didn't even want to see the knives or nothing. Fucker, get a gun. That's not the way they were at. You're up here with fucking vets. Everybody's got guns up here. Fucking get a gun. Jeez.
So I've overturned some of my felonies, but I'm working on one last felony for the trafficking. And once I get that overturned, I'll have all my rights back. It's been an expensive road, bro, but like that was one thing that my wife talked me into doing was like, why don't you get your rights back? You know?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And again, that would never been possible without cannabis legalization. And they were, you know, in my opinion, they're all bullshit charges anyways.
Exactly. It's all a money grab, man. It's all, you know, it's all to keep their industry going. Like, pretty sure the criminal defense attorneys are in on it too. You know, they're making fucking tons of money, hand over fist.
But it's crazy. We were fucked, you know, when a lot of states turned their prison systems, their penal systems over to a private, you know, private investors. That's when things kind of really spun out of control because now, you know, it's not about
they get judges working for them. Dollars. Yep. That's so they've always said that the East Coast has the mob and the West Coast has the LAPD. Like on the West Coast, the mob doesn't have a real big presence, you know, because you have your Hispanic gangs with their Mexican mafia and stuff like that. But really, the police is the mob, bro. Like where I grew up, it's like Ventura and a bunch of small towns. There's a town called Santa Paula that I have 160 cousins. My dad's got 17 brothers and sisters. So we have a fucking gigantic family. So most of my family's Hispanic. They deal in the meth trade and stuff like that, you know, and cocaine and shit. And half the people that they buy shit off of is the cops when they do big busts on people. And then they turn around and they sell it off the fucking backdoor, bro. The fucking police. Like, and I wouldn't believe it unless I've seen it with my own fucking eyes, you know? Like an actual fucking cop, a squad car dropping off pounds of dope, you know? Like, and then for them to pull you over about weed, once you know that type of shit, it's like fucking asinine, you know? Like you want to rip their head off. Like, what?
Well, one of the big wins here in Michigan was when we won the forfeiture bullshit because it was gang-like mentality, in my opinion. Up until that point, when they could fucking come busting in on just, you know, cents and like that and take everything, they did.
Yep.
They did, man. And that's how police departments got all their goodies, their toys, and all their bullshit.
Exactly.
Man. They were never getting back.
Yep. Yep. When I was fighting my case, I had gotten pulled over about a year and a half before that. I was on the way to the shooting range. I had a brand new Sig Walter 45, and I had a Glock too. But the Sig was brand new. I just paid $1,400 for this, you know, on my way to the shooting range. But my dumbass didn't unload the clip, and I had it in the case that it came in, but it wasn't locked. And it was just right there on the seat next to me. The cop freaked out, put his gun to my head, whole thing, you know, felony stop. Another cop come up, and I'm like, bro, they're got registered weapons, you know, like, I understand, like, the clips are in them. I'm on my way to Shooter's Paradise, you know, and they take them from me. I had to go to jail, everything, bro. So the judge was like, as long as you don't get in trouble, you can go pick up your guns in 9 months, you know? So I had to do this probation for 9 months. And then after the 9 months was up, I was fighting that case at the time. But I kept pushing that case off so I could get my guns and then transfer them somewhere safe, you know? And when I went to pick them up, with the docket from the judge that said to release them to me. The CHP was like, "Oh, those guns were destroyed because they were using a crime." And I was like, "What crime?" Like they were brand new, you know? And how were they destroyed? Because they were not using a crime. And, they look it up and they're like, "Oh, it says right here, concealed carry." And I was like, I did this 9-month summary probation of, I showed him my ticket and everything. He was like, "Well, can't do anything. They were destroyed." I'm like, "You know damn well those are sitting in one of your motherfuckers' safes at home." Like bullshit. Can't do nothing. They're the biggest gang there is, though. You can't do shit about it. Well, you can though. Yes.
We're taking slow wins. We're taking slow wins. Like we said, we were never thought we'd be here, man. That's for sure.
Right.
So I'll take it one at a time. Fuck, man. When here in Michigan, fucking fireworks and cannabis came legal, I was like, God yeah, I don't need to leave this fucking state for shit. I can blow things up and smoke weed.
Hell yeah. Where the hell did my dad go? Fireworks are illegal here in Colorado, but if you go over to Wyoming, they're fully legal. And you can buy whatever the hell you want over there. So they got like on the highway to Wyoming, right when you cross the state line, there's all these gigantic factories, Black Cat Factory, a Phantom Factory. We usually do a big show.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. That fucking used to be my favorite time of the year. It still is. Still is. I love fucking fireworks. I love to fucking set fireworks off. I almost like just, to me, I like to bring everybody together and I like to light them off. There's just something fuck up about it. Just likes lighting that fuse and run it. You know what I mean? There's just something about looking here and that and just looking over your shoulder and catching a piece
Oh yeah.
of it, and then running back with another fucking ball.
Right? We'll set up a piece of plywood and set up like 10 tubes on it so we could set 10 of them in there and hook them together and light them off, the mortars. And fucking, there's nothing better than that, bro. Like having your kids get to invite all their buddies and shit like that, Like, well, my dad does a huge fireworks show, like I'll go up there and spend a few grand, maybe a few more than I should. And I'll come back here and sell them to a couple buddies and shit to make back most of my money. But hell yeah, like we do a big show, man.
Sounds like the old trips to fucking Indiana and fucking all the time when they were here. I used to do the same thing, run down before the 4th, fucking buy as much shit as I could. Fucking and that for me it's like, because I've got the girls and 4th of July was always a time, to bring them together, the rest of the families, my nephews and shit, the boys I never got to see. And that was always the best time for me, is having all the guys together and fucking. I'd have them guys fucking untwining balls for me, and the old ones that were old enough, because I did the same thing. I would screw down the fucking a nice couple sheets of plywood and fucking we would just run back and forth, a couple of us, and fucking go through lighters all night long. Run back, go forward, and be like, ready? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, fucking we'd light them both. And fucking the rest of the kids would just be undoing the balls, you know what I mean? First time I moved out towards the Durand-Owasso area, I moved next door to a military colonel. And shit you not, man, we became good friends. But we had the roughest start, man, from this incident, 4th of July. And it was like fucking, it went on for about 6 hours. Well before, dusk, we started.
Blowing the sky out, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he got up the next morning and I could hear him out in the yard. Rightfully so. He had every right to be pissed.
Oh yeah,
Fucking,
shit
there was
everywhere.
fucking, yeah, debris everywhere. He's all fucking pissed. And fucking, I kind of met him well, I was screaming out the window back and forth. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to be a patriot, fucking blah, blah, blah. And then fucking, kind of fucking, ended up meeting him at the fence in my underwear when I fucking realized what I'd done was an asshole move. He had kind of had and again I was, new neighbor. I wasn't, to know, but he had severe, PTSD from it all. I kind of fucking without knowing shut the shit out of me for fucking 6 hours. And I again, after I found that out, deepest apologies. We ended up becoming friends, and yet after every year after that, I would always, because I found out he was a smoker, obviously, I would hook him up with a fat sack and offer, put him up somewhere, you know, for
On
the
a
for the
hotel?
4th of July. Yeah, yeah. And a few years he took me up on it, but a few years in the beginning, it's still in the beginning phase. I don't know if it was a trust issue, but I remember one year that it was the second year, and that's where I got more respectful, especially after the second year, because he let it go on 3 hours, easy. Cheers up, Pope Phonics. Nice to see you in chat. He was like, "Eel, about done." All you could tell by the voice, and all you could see, it was like pitch dark, and all you could see was those whites. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Let's pack it up, guys." Oh man, you know what I mean? So I respectfully pulled it back that night, and then the next year I was like, how about we just, we'll meet halfway here. I'll put you up if you want to take off. He turned out to be
That's
an
cool as
awesome
fuck of
guy.
you though, man. Yeah, that's cool as fuck.
Gotta,
got
have
neighbors,
respect for them gentlemen.
just had a baby next door. Like maybe 2 months ago, she came home from the hospital, and I barbecue here and stuff like that. So I'll smoke when I smoke a tri-tip. I'll smoke it and hand it over the fence. Hey neighbor, you want some tip? And I hit him up a few weeks back and was like, hey, so because this is our first 4th of July at this house, and I'm like, how's the neighborhood? Like, is it pretty active? You guys do a block party? The next street over does a block party. So I start talking to the neighbor that lives behind me, and they shut down the whole front of the street, and everyone barbecues and everything. So we're just going to take all our stuff over to his house. And the other neighbor was like, oh, we're going to take our kid and our pets down to the basement, like they'll be fine, But this is our first year in a neighborhood where they do a block party. I'm pretty stoked on it. Like, oh man, like we could really let loose this year, like we could bring the big guns.
And a strange twist of fate that I've never really caught until, while we're speaking here, is I ended up moving north. And when we started this talk about 4th of July there, I said it used to be my favorite holiday, and it still is, but I moved north, and now the house that I'm in is surrounded by fucking pines, and I'm in the middle of fucking forest, and shooting
you're
off,
gonna do exactly there,
especially
yeah.
at dry times, I'm like,
Oh yeah,
this is a horrible idea, but in a crazy twist of fate,
fire.
I'm to fucking pretty much what it's like vet retirement area. So now, it's quite the opposite. I'm not shell shocking the colonel anymore. These guys around me are fucking lighting it up, man. They fucking all you can hear around here on the 4th of July is fucking gunfire. It ain't even fucking fireworks and shit. It's actual gunfire and God knows what else, man. Them crazy events are blowing shit up here in the 4th of July. So it's kind of like the full circle
Yeah, they wouldn't like it there. Yeah, I like the summer holidays definitely, man. I'm trying to get it now to where I want to buy a camper, like a pool trailer or something. That way I could keep getting like my daughter and her boyfriend coming around, you know, like I mean shit. I give her weed for free because fucking it keeps her coming to the house all the time. You know what I mean? Like she's at that age right now where she just moved out, you know, and it's like I want to keep an eye on her. They actually just had an altercation last week. I had to go to this fucking school. They're playing RC cars and shit with those electric RC cars, you know, like the nice ones. And it was getting dark. These drunk neighbors came over there starting some shit. And my daughter's boyfriend and his friends are all really good kids, you know, super well behaved. Fucking, their dads are all super strict on them, you know, like they're good kids. So she sends me this video and she's like, come up here now. This guy has a fucking metal pipe, you know, like telling these kids shit. You can tell he's shit faced drunk. Like he didn't want to see me when I got there, definitely. But yeah, like just that type of shit. I'm like, this is why you need to live at the house. Luckily, they live really close by, though. But still, you know.
Oh man, I feel your pain there. Because like I said, man, my oldest, close knit family here, myself, me, my girls. You know what I mean? And the oldest, it was a daddy's girl. I'm not gonna lie, oldest, first. He's not that I love the other two any less, but she was first, and no, first went out of the nest, and it was heartbreaking because that last few years, man, she went everywhere with dad, grocery shopping, jobs, she helped out, you know what I mean? And this is probably as a father that has a daughter, you're gonna fucking feel this pain. I know. So we're packing up, we're selling the house, moving 200 miles north. And actually, as far as the girls go, they hardly even like slept over at Francis' house and shit like that. This was her pretty much first real boyfriend. And when it come to fucking moving up here, we're like, are you coming? You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Gonna make extra space. Nope. I'm staying here with him. And we moved 200 miles north, and she stayed with boyfriend. And that decision was, man, like a fucking knife to the chest to dad.
Yeah, man. I feel like they're picking a guy up. They live 5 minutes from me, man. And I mean, of course, she has a room here still, you know. And like, she didn't really like, oh, I'm moving out. She just stayed over there, and they've been together like 2 years now, you know, since like high school sweetheart type of shit. But every time I talk to her still, when he's not around, I'm like, is everything okay? Like, you need me to pull his fucking eyeballs out, you know? Or, you know, dad will come over and do it, you know?
I both. Oh man, there's what I did that one time, brother. Fucking, she was up here visiting, and he was down there being like a little fucking asshole. To be honest with you, oh, I'm pounding his feet back and forth, Texas, back and forth, Texas. Oh, I gotta go home. There's problems, you know. He's being an ass. I'm right there on my fucking phone. Fuck you, motherfucker. You fucking fucking up my time with my daughter and shit. Don't make me come down there, you little asshole and shit. You know what I mean? Oh man, that back and forth. I went back and forth on like car decisions. You know what I mean? Oh, that car can be fixed. Oh, the transmission's fucked up in that. It's wheel bearing. No, listen to me. It's a wheel bearing. No, that car needs a transmission. Oh, he's an asshole. And back and forth like that. Oh, oof. Oof. Oh, man.
Man. I'm just glad that the kid that she's with is nothing like me at all. You know, like he's an angel. You know, but when he first started like really coming around, like I told her like, hey, he's got to come up here. You know, he's got to talk to me. And she was scared as shit. You know, like they've been together for a couple months. You know, and his dad is in the trades too, so you kind of know like, oh, I have some leeway here. You know. And I told him, like, bro, like, it hurt her feelings, all that stuff. She'll get over that. But if you ever lay a hand on my daughter, I'm gonna cut you apart. And I'm gonna bury you in 3 different states. And the dude, like, it stuck with him, you know, like, now that they've been together all this time, she'll come over, and if my wife's not here, I'll smoke a joint with her or something. I'll go to hand it to him. Here, Dylan, you want to hit? Oh no, I don't smoke. She laughs like, he doesn't care if you smoke, you know. He thinks like, oh, if I smoke, like I can't drive with his daughter. Like, he's the most respectful kid ever, man. I can't be luckier.
That's what we hope for anyway. That's exactly what we hope for, is that kind of gentleman. Luckily, I've only had to go through one so far of this instance, man. There's still two at home. I love them to death, but and I'm not looking forward to the boyfriend challenge anytime soon, man. It's rough.
Yeah. She used to get real mad because I was always real strict with her about that type of stuff. But her older brother, my stepson, he's 20. He's about to be 24. With him, he was a boy. You know, it was, hey, if you get someone pregnant, you're gonna have to deal with it. You know. I'm not paying for you to have a kid, you know, and we never worried about it. But I mean, look at him too. He's been with his chick going on 6 years now. It's like, wow. Me and my wife have been married damn near 20 years now. You know, we met super young too.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Luckily again, that first one didn't. She's not with that first guy. She's with a very respectful cat now. That first one, man. I tell you, I can't even think of a good movie scene where the cat just like laughs uncontrollably. I think maybe Charlie Murphy in one of those skits when he's talking about some of the shit when that laugh he has, like uncontrollable. Man, I had one of those with that cat one time. He actually called me with like the breakup advice and stuff on my daughter. I had never had such a good laugh in my life. You know, he was like, oh man, I shouldn't even say, but I had never laughed so hard. He was like, dude, there's no way in hell I'm siding with you over my daughter, and I don't even like you. What the fuck I gave him credit for balls for calling. I really did. Right. That was bottom line.
Man. Oh, man. My wife's dad was a complete ass. Me and him couldn't have started off worse if it was planned. The first time I met him, we were going on a trip up to this fucking lake to go camping. And we were taking her car, and she had this little Honda Civic. And we pulled up, and she was getting money off her dad or whatever the fuck, you know. And he came out to meet me. He's a big asshole like me. He's an oil guy, you know. He was like, "You're fucking letting my daughter drive on these tires?" And I was like, "Your cheap ass hasn't bought tires for your daughter?" And like, we almost got into it, you know, right off the bat. And she, you know, like, but we went there, and she was like, "My dad's an asshole. Like, don't even talk to him," you know. So it was already like bad intentions in my head, you know. Like, but me and him are really cool now. He got a cushy job with Shell Oil, makes fucking 6 figures, and lives up in the Bay by San Francisco and shit. Like, man, like, be nice. Give me a job with Shell Oil. Give me a $600,000 job. You know, damn.
Yeah, they grow up too quick, man. That time, man, that fucking they grow up too quick, man. I talk about that all the time, man. Take time. Spend a little bit, man, a few minutes with them, man, at least per day. Ask some questions, something. Man, I couldn't believe it when that happened with the first girl. That I had that realization that holy fuck, that was brutal. Brutal.
Yeah. We've talked about relocating to Arizona in the next like 18 months to 2 years. Like I want to be able to pull some profits off this Oklahoma stuff, and I want to buy this property in Arizona, and then I want to go out there. Once I have a well drilled on it, I'm going to go down there and put septic in, but I'm going to put 2 septic systems in since I'm already going to be down there, you know. So I want to have a trailer come down there and hook it up to septic and be able to build a house. And then after that, I want to be able to put another septic and another well in. If we get 100 acres, I can fix 10 wells on the property. Which means I can have 10 residential homes on the property, you know. But I'm like, I'm building a house for you and your little boyfriend, and you guys are moving. Pretty much that's how it has to happen. Right? It's like, well, I'm building the house and you guys are moving. That's all there is. You can't say no to that, you know, like, come on.
That would be awesome. That was kind of the what Buddha Boy was talking about last night when he was on the show. Is that's the way he's pretty much envisioning. It's a nice hunk of land that's been in the family, and encouraging the sons and daughters to build on theirs. Stay close to keep the family unit together like that. It would be fun.
We're looking near Prescott, Arizona. It has like a little microclimate there that it stays 85 all year. There's only about 2 weeks out of the year it gets above that, and same 2 weeks about it's open. So it's like just begging for me to come there and grow on it, you know.
Yeah. So do you think you'll ever just of it say start growing some hemp? I know like here in Michigan, I've kind of thought about it. I think a hemp license for you, I think you have to have 3 acres, but I think it's like $100, something like that, to be able to just throw some hemp. I mean, just to start overgrowing, you know what I mean?
So I've thought about it, but I've probably thought about it for all the wrong reasons, you know. I've thought about it just to put, say, if you put 1,000 plants out there, I didn't know 100 of them were THC seeds, you know.
Yeah. Dude, nature is a funny beast. What happens in nature?
If you're doing 1,000 or a couple, because to do the hemp and CBD, you have to do a shit ton of it, you know, for it to be profitable. And I mean, if you're doing that type of acreage anyway, like you're licensed, it's not like anyone's gonna come up there and pluck a bud off and be like, oh, this is THC, you know. Like I'd say right now we probably have a small window of a few years before they really do some type of regulation where they have a actual inspector, an agricultural inspector or some type, you know what I mean? Before they make up some job for it. Sit there and make our millions.
Definitely, they can't keep up on what's being presented to them now as far as testing and shit like that. They can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I would imagine. I like watching that show that guy's got about that operation he's doing. The guy that used to do the infomercials, that Mount Kush or whatever. That's what's really inspired me. You haven't seen that yet? Oh man, you got to check that out. It's called, I think it's called Mount Kush. Now, don't quote me on it though, but it's the guy that he does those infomercials, and I want to say he's like British or something like that. And he's the like as seen on TV guy. But wait, and then there's more. You know what I mean? One of those guys. Well, his daughter, I'm not sure the exact medical condition, but I think it's the same as one of my cousins, where she gets a bunch of grand mal seizures, epileptic, and she really benefits a lot from CBD and RSO and stuff like that. So, like to watch that show is all about him getting into the industry, you know, with his daughter and stuff like that. But they have a huge operation. I think it's Tennessee or something like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But it just leaves room for like so many jokes, to be honest with you. Because I would honestly lose a little bit of hope in the CBD market when, say, like Vince from like Sham Wow starts like pushing fucking CBD products in the infomercial.
Well,
shit.
that
It's
guy,
good for
he
me.
partnered off with
If it spills, you can clean it up with a Sham Wow. Yeah.
Hey, what's funny though, like he teamed up with some good growers and stuff, obviously, but I guess their CBD, they pressed it all into rosin, and they work with like a rosin press manufacturer and all this stuff. But like to see him do it though, like when they go deliver this rosin and have it tested and stuff like that, they're taking like their 5-gallon buckets of rosin. And it's like 40 or 50 5-gallon buckets of rosin. You know, I'm like, God, if just one of those was THC, like that's some money. You know what I mean? That's probably 100, 200 pounds of rosin in each one of those buckets.
They're fucking trying to, again, the infomercial and shit. You can even fix a boat with the rosin.
It stops leaks.
Yeah. It's
For
a
sure.
miracle product. Oh, man.
Oh, shit. Is it? What time is it? Let's see.
153 here in Michigan.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go to the garage. The lights are about to turn off in here in like 2 minutes. We'll go out to the garage and I'll take a look at the flowery.
Hell yeah.
How do I turn
Yes,
the camera
please.
around here? Okay.
Well, up in the, if you're on a phone, upper left-hand corner, you should be able to flip it around.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
I'm gonna step over and grab a hunk of blood real quick.
Yeah. Ooh, it's hot out here. I gotta empty these. Hold on real quick. Let me empty these humidifiers.
Yeah, I'm
Or
actually
dehumidifiers.
fucking thinking about having, it'll be first year that I may possibly fucking put in an air conditioner here as the fucking hot weather approaches this weekend.
Yeah. I'm a big one on I'd rather add more CO2 than air conditioning. I think it's cheaper to add the CO2. And then it's 95 degrees in here right now and the plants are still happy. There we go.
Well, that's the thing. Right now, it's an open loop system here, basically. So, air conditioning would be probably the first step of maybe possibly adding some extra CO2.
Yeah. Yeah, these are
Beautiful.
starting to fade. I got about 10 days left or so of flushing.
What are we looking at?
That is so this is the Tangy. It's a Silver Surfer Tangy from Swami. This is fuck, this falling all over the place, man. This is the gelato cake. Big old fatties. Everything's just toppling over in here, just heavy. But big old fatty nugs on them. I love
like
it when
to
it
grow
starts to get
sound
that purple.
myself.
Yeah, see these ones.
I like to.
When I first. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I like to see them fucking flop like that, man. I think that
Yeah,
stress towards the end, it helps to produce some extra terps and a little bit of extra THC production, man. I like to let them flop as long, till the point of snap almost. You
yeah,
know what I
it
mean?
makes them think that they're dying, you know. I vegged these a little too long because so when we got this house, I had to run 240 out here because I could only pull maybe 10 amps out here before I'd flip the breaker. And the electrician just fucking took his sweet ass time, but finally got out here. So they were in veg maybe about 2 to 3 weeks longer than I would have liked. But whatever. Still get big old fatty nugs off them. And then this is going to be a full run of that Silver Surfer Tangy, little 12 plant run of it. I'm gonna do this one for YouTube. I'm gonna make some videos on it. I'm sponsored by Optic LED now, so I kind of want to show people like what these lights can actually do compared to a cheaper quantum board, like more readily available, what people would usually buy to start off with, But that's what I'm running.
That's what.
The Optic Cobs
What are
too.
those?
Those are Optic 8s. Yeah. So these are what I'm talking about that I'm switching to is these are 500 watts a piece, and I can consistently pull 800 to 1,000 grams off them, no problem, off 500 watts. So every 1,000 watt I take out, these are running 500 watts at 2 amps, and off a 240 line, 1,000 watt is still pulling 4.5 amps. So these are half the amperage, everything. And then these are the Finn company, but it's the bar lights they put out. That's the Optic Slim 500S. Oh man, it's fucking hot out here.
A little warm in my grow tonight. Finally starting to cool off, man.
Yeah, these are a 4-week veg. Some Gift of Fire, that one downstairs I was telling you I was going to clone off of. That's these right here. They're stacking up real nice under these 1,000 watts. When I flowered them under the optics the last run, though, they get so colorful under these damn LEDs, man.
Nice. I definitely love the LEDs myself. They've come so far.
Oh yeah. Remember 10 years ago or so, they were fucking garbage, and you had to pay a shit ton for them.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to jump on the train back then. I've definitely taken some beatings on some LED birds.
Right. That's I've always been the
nice
when
setup.
LEDs. Thank you. When LEDs were first coming out, I was always the nope, 1,000 watt red eye bulbs for me, bud. But seeing what my buddy did with these, he pulled off one of these Optic Cobb LEDs, 500 watts, and he pulled over 2 pounds out of a 4x4. And I was like, damn, that's more than I'll do with HPS all day, So then I started making the
which
switch.
ones do you prefer, the bar or the style that you got hanging there, the Optic?
Well, they're both optics. This would be the first season that I'm using those bar LEDs, so we'll see. But I mean, it's the technology's there, The diodes are top of the line. They're using the LM301Bs, and then they're using the new Samsung that's growing, the LH351H, and then good, really good top of the line Meanwell drivers. But they're 10-year warranties, man. That's the only light manufacturer I've seen offering a 10-year warranty. and they're made in the U.S.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
just
heard of a 10-year either. 5-year, it's pretty standard, isn't it? Not, but 10 years,
yeah,
very
5 years.
impressive, man.
When I was researching them, they offer a 10-year because they overpower the light. So they'll put 1,000 watts of drivers into it, and then internally they'll take it down to 500 watts. So outside you can only get it to go up to 500 watts. If you hook it up to one of their controllers, you can pull extra wattage out of it. But because they basically dim it down to 50% in the unit itself, it doubles up their lifespan, you know. So they overpower it and then they turn it down.
Captain 420 in chat would like to know about the lights far red spectrum. You know about that? Can you tell us anything about far red?
I mean, it's pretty close to all the other top manufacturers. It's definitely in the Gavita, in the higher spectrum for LED lights. You're looking at, so like your top of the line HLG lights, you're looking at 2.7 micromoles per joule. Whereas these optics are putting off, I think these optic cobs are putting off 2.9, but the bar LEDs are putting off 3.1. I mean, so it's you know, the stats don't lie. But just the fact that they're made in the US too, like I'm trying to get away from anything I can that's made in China. Like, you know that you can't do everything, but every couple things that you can do is going to make a difference in the long run, you know?
Heard that. So what do you know exactly what the Barcel, what the price point is there for that in particular one?
So I could get you 10% off, or if you're a content creator or anything like that, you contact them, they'll give you a 5 to 10% off code to use. But that bar LED, they're 500 watt. It's the slim 500S with the discount. That's about $800, and the cobs are maybe about $100 more with the discount. So it's still under $1,000. But if you figure, if you spend $500 at Mars Hydro, or the same like I'm doing in this tent, this little comparison, you know, you're spending $500 on quantum boards or $800 on a better light, you're going to see the poundage. You know, you're going to see an actual almost pound difference. Like, so the light pays for itself your first harvest, you know.
Yeah. Them, yeah, in my opinion, you can't beat the bars. You just can't beat the bars. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, with these about 40 inches from my plants, I'm getting about 1,200 ppfd in the middle with the cobs, and I'm probably getting about 700 on the edges of a 4 to 5x5 area. But with those bar LEDs, you're getting a solid almost 900 ppfd, all the whole damn light, you know, the whole coverage area. I'm excited to see what it does, though, for sure.
Oh, I think you'd be very happy with that, Ron. Very happy.
Man, these damn humidifiers are turning the heat up in here, man. That's why it's so hot. They're both running.
Yeah, I'm borderline putting the air conditioner on myself.
Yeah, I have one, but my dumbass is, when I put this tent up, I buried it. So it's like, oh, if I get it, it's gonna be a real bitch. So I'm just gonna tough it out without it. I don't want to pull more air out.
I pull in this nice filtered Michigan air here. I've been, this is my fifth year up here, and I've yet to put in an air conditioner because I tend to run at night. Well,
Really?
and this is so. So here's the flip side of things. I've never run everything at night. I may end up having to break things back down to where it's half and half again, just for heat reasons.
Yeah.
That's the way it has always run. But because of the show and the way I run my life currently, I've kept everything on the same time schedule just for work purposes
Yeah,
before
definitely.
where I was available. But
Yep.
pulling in that cold Michigan air, man, like fucking most nights, even during summer, it's like 50, 55 out there. So, suck that in and dump it in the room. Hell, that's almost what an
Oh
air
yeah.
conditioner is.
Oh yeah.
But
See, I don't pull any air in here because it's a semi-sealed room with CO2. So I pull out about 350, 400 CFM. But if I switch tonight, I'm hoping the same thing. By switching tonight, I can catch the cooler temperatures. Just what it does residually pull in.
that's the only benefit about, possibly bringing in the air conditioning and closing it up a little bit is the hopes of putting in some CO2.
Yeah,
Something.
definitely. Your room is pretty big there, so I would say if you were just doing tents, you could do those little bottles, like homemade bottles. Those add a good amount. Like the mushroom bags, those are cool because they last 6 months. But in all reality, they only add about 100 ppm of CO2. Where those little bottles that you can mix up in a 2-liter bottle, you have to make a new bottle every 10 days, but they add about 400 ppm to your tent or whatever.
All right,
But you can make them pretty simple. It's like some yeast and sugar.
not too bad. Running at 600 right now with an ambient kind of
Oh
setup
yeah,
there.
that's plenty. Yeah. I push these fuckers. I'll get it up to like 1400 in here and fucking run it like 92, 93 degrees. It makes them suck that water up faster, everything. Just speeds up their metabolism.
So do you mix up your own soil these days, or do you have a preference with a soil that you run it?
I like Nectar of the Gods. I like their number 4 mix. But pretty much any 50-50 blend. I don't want full only soil. Just drainage issues. I feel like that 50-50 blend, you get the best of both worlds. You still get it holds on to it a little more, but you're still dried out within 2 days.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, you're doing something right there. Plants are definitely looking good.
Man, that cocoa though, I've done quite a few grows with just cocoa, and that shit grows fast, man. It gets out of control fast though too. But
Yeah, I definitely love the cocoa.
yeah,
I'm kind of trying to simple things up a little bit for one reason or another. And I don't know if a newcomer, one of my girls there, are ready to take on like mixing up nutrients and stuff like that. If I'm going to leave some tasks, I'd rather just leave it to a water type system for them, like you were saying.
yep. For years, I ran just dry amendment nutrients, where you just mix them in every 3 weeks or so, and then that's all you do is feed a 6.5 water, just a pure water, and just re-amend every 3 weeks. But this company Lotus, it's so I've been told it's a bunch of California growers that started the company, and then it's run out of Canada, but it's they advertise as fucking premium nutrients for medical growers. And the guy came into my buddy owns a hydro shop out here. So the rep came into the shop and was like, oh, switch over to this. And I was showing him some shit on YouTube and shit. And he's like, man, he gave me a full line of their shit and was like, switch over to it for a couple plants that you can grow the same strain, you know, your way and then our way. And if you don't see a 10 to 20% increase, don't call us. You know, I ended up calling him like, hey, bro, like I saw a good 20-25% increase on what I was doing. Worm castings, dry amendments, like adding in molasses, doing the whole shebang, you know, and I just like fuck it. If I can get that with just mixing this shit in there, it's still all organic. Like, I'm loving these guys.
Nice. So is that a dark horse or is that a Mustang on there? Can't help but ask. On your forearm there, brother.
Oh, it's a Bronco. I was like, is there some shit I don't know about here? No, I'm a big Broncos fan. It's we live 10 minutes from the stadium here too, so it's pretty dope. We can go tailgate to the fucking games and shit. Get off shitty in the parking lot. We've met a bunch of the players and stuff. We did the tour of the stadium, and on the tour that we were on, we got to meet John Elway and shit. Like, he's actually got a restaurant in town. So does Mike Shanahan, the old coach for the Denver Broncos. But you can go to their restaurant and shit, and like maybe half the time they're gonna be there, you know, and they might say hi or, you know, sign something or take a picture, you know. It's pretty cool. I grew up watching him, you know.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Yeah, I couldn't help but wonder, man. My tattoo guy's Dark Horse, and then I've interviewed Dark Horse Genetics the other night. Fuck, I ran into seen a Dark Horse wine the other day. I was wondering if there was, you know, a theme run in there. Like, holy cow, what's up with the fucking horse? What am I missing?
Right? Nope, just the football team.
Play a lot of sports when throughout your years. Were you a football player yourself? You're a big guy, man.
I grew up playing football for sure. I wish I would have not got in trouble and I would have stuck with it. And like, you know, if I would have stayed in regular high school and not gone to continuation school and shit, I could have, who knows, could have went to college and all that shit. But I'm glad that life turned out the way it did, you know?
Right on.
My oldest son, though, well, I mean, my stepson's my oldest son, but my 13-year-old, my son, he is super into football. Plays D1 out here in Denver. When we lived in California, he was playing LA County Pop Warner, which is probably the best Pee Wee football in the whole fucking country. We played 2 years in a row. Our championship game was against Snoop Dogg's team. So he was really cool. Like it was on their home games. Both games was on their home. But they bought shoes for all our players and stuff, bought them all brand new shoes. Like after the game, they gave them cleats and stuff like that, found out their sizes before. That dude is like, goes over and beyond for youth sports. Like Snoop Dogg is the shit, you know? But I mean, obviously their team has personal trainers and shit, and they've murdered us, you know, each time. But it was a cool experience though for him for sure.
Man, I hope that at some point that more and more charitable people are more apt to take cannabis money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I actually tried to at one point to, you know, the first 420 event, try to do like a charity event, man. And everybody that I contacted, man, was like, yeah, nah. Nah.
Yeah, really.
Fucking cannabis. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Huh, that is weird. Maybe a few years down the road. I know there's a few dispensaries here that like when you go to their dispensary, they fucking they sponsor little league teams and shit, you know?
Someday, hopefully, someday soon, man. It'd
Right?
be weird to see though.
Your sponsors High West Cannabis. Fucking A.
That'd be fucking a trip right there. Yeah, that'd be cool to see, on anything really. You know what I
I
mean? Not
remember
just sports.
when it was first just like Prop 215 and stuff, like my grandma's a nurse and then my wife ended up becoming a nurse. But I was excited to see like them come out with something. Like, of course I was, stupid, but I was thinking like, oh man, they're gonna make this shit legal, they're gonna do research, they're gonna come out with a pill that cures cancer in 10 years, you know. I think if they even found the cure for cancer, though, they would keep it real hush hush. That's probably one of their biggest money makers, is shit like that.
Oh, that's fucking no doubts, brother. There's no doubts on that. I mean, you look back at throughout history to anybody that's tried to put forth a cure for cancer. I've seen research as far as high volumes of TH or vitamin C killing cancer and other things like that, man. Anybody that's ever put forth any kind of evidence to shit like that has mysteriously vanished, or you know what I mean, gotten sick and shit like that, man. They don't. You're right, man. They don't want this.
It's almost as deadly as having information on Hillary.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna tap out on the politics.
Oh, definitely.
Too sensitive of a subject for some.
For sure. For sure. Man, this motherfucker is getting ready.
So, are you working on any strains of your own for the future? What's you kind of hinted towards that adventure.
So I have 13 stable strains that I've worked on over the years. And well, now I gotta switch this microphone out. It's just it's getting low. But I've been talking with Miss Jill about releasing my stuff. And I sent her a couple of my things. Hopefully she's gonna run them in one seed bank or something. I don't know. I definitely want to explore the opportunities with it, though.
Nice.
I just don't want to get labeled as one of those like you've put in all those years of work on something, and like I've only given it to certain people. I just don't want someone to come around and like, oh, he's a fucking pollen chucker. Like, I just hate that.
Well, I don't know. It's easy to throw the term if you haven't seen
it is
the work they put in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Well, hopefully, you at least make it into the tester realm over there with Miss Jill. That's first steps first. Usually they take them seeds, dish them out, and see if there's some interest, and then on to round two.
Yeah, I told her about the project I'm doing with a strain that I already crossed too, and she was really excited about it. I told her I'm F3 in it. I'm gonna probably do it at my daughter's when I set up the grow over there. I'm setting their shit up over there so I can do a bit of breeding and stuff like that. I just don't want to cross pollinate anything here in my grow right now. But if I just give her the flower, then I could just use her house for breeding and stuff like that, which is nice. But she definitely wants some seeds of that and a couple other things I sent her. So we'll see how it goes. It'd be nice. But I'm mostly just counting on doing this stuff with Oklahoma, man, and really just fucking making some legal money in the game, you know?
Right on. Well, you can't. Right now, you kind of gotta be a little versatile to, be able to feel your way through the cannabis industry to see where that spot will open up for you.
Definitely, man. Yeah, this opportunity with Oklahoma really just came out of the blue, really. And it just fell in my lap to where I never thought in my life that I was going to be able to legally get into the cannabis industry because of my past charges. And for them to really open the doors for that, like, I'm so thankful for them doing this shit that I just have to get in now before they change their mind type of thing. It was like, it needs to be done now. But my wife definitely didn't like it at first. She found out how much money I was going to sink into it and was like, are you sure? But you gotta risk it to get the biscuit, right?
That's right. Yeah, it can be a scary adventure. That's for sure.
Yeah, if it fails, it fails, It's fucking a learning experience then, I guess. But there's always stuff to fall back on, I just don't want to plumb the rest of my life. I don't want to work on job sites the rest of my life.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm sick of doing that
shit. Me as well.
Oh,
I hope you're able to make the transition, my friend. I hope you're able to make that transition.
Hopefully we all can, man. Fucking A. There's definitely enough room, right?
There is. There absolutely is. I'm still to that point though. I'm very much feeling out where I want to be still in the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of was saying that you still, even for me at this point, trying to decide where I want to fall in. I'd love to be a large scale grower, but man, I've always had a problem with like large, business. I've ran a few businesses. Partnering up has always been tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
just that trust you gotta have.
Yeah. So even on like a large scale grow where I'd want to be, I'd probably want to be like my way or no way. So
yeah,
I'd have a time.
See,
I think I'd have a tough time falling in line working for somebody. So I want to do it to myself for myself, but at this point, making that transition, kind of tough. So
we're already running into that issue, man. So the guy that I'm partnered up with is a double-ended guy, like no question about it. He runs a 30 light grow here in Colorado, and fucking he's a double-ended all the way. And I'm like, bro, like we could get the same results with half the power with fucking these LEDs and cobs, and he doesn't want to fucking hear it. Fucking no, it's double-ended. I'm like, and it's like fucking, well, like, are we really gonna start this off with a fucking problem? Like the fuck, But
I kind of
just gotta
not to fuel the fire for you, but yeah. I'm not trying to put gas in your tank here, brother. But I mean, what about like California already, where they're almost making it mandatory?
Exactly. That's one of the. Believe me, that's one. And then
so why
Oklahoma's running the same program.
Yeah. So why not get used to the grow style now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's my 2 cents.
We're trying to. I agree. We're trying to compromise, but it's also a cost issue. It's The fucking double endeds cost half as much, but then it, you run into the fucking over or lifespan, you're gonna have to put more money into those because you're getting a new bulb every other grow, That's a couple $100 each light. Yeah, we'll see. But bottom line though, even if things don't go as planned and I have to bite the bullet for 2 years just to operate for 2 years down there, meet all the residency requirements to open up my own shit, which I mean, fuck, hopefully in 2 years I'll even be able to do that, But then I could go operate in Tulsa or Oklahoma City where, who knows, I might be able to get my wife to relocate if it's a nice city, Like she's a nurse, first off. Like she doesn't need money, but her money is her money, and I pay all the bills and her money is her money. And she just doesn't want to fucking live somewhere where she's got to drive an hour to go into the city with the kids and so I understand it, but it's like, fuck, don't hold us back.
Well, I got to give you props for multi-levels here. I got to give you props for having the fucking vision to, to put yourself out there to start a new adventure and
it's scary,
to live the dream. You know what I mean? I bet it is scary, but I'm a firm believer if you can see it overall, you know what I mean? It will happen. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just gotta believe, but you gotta see it. You gotta see it. You know what I mean? You can't doubt it. You just gotta know it's gonna happen, and it will happen. So shout out to you for having that dream, putting the effort in, and I would like to give you a second shout out to having of what sounds like an amazing family unit. You know what I mean? To
definitely,
have
my
the
wife is
strength to let
definitely
you
old
fucking
school.
shout, you know what I mean, to travel to help set up that dream. Sounds like you got a fucking good thing going there, brother. So, shout out to you and everything.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm definitely like, I grew up poor, like, I mean, my dad had money, but my dad was always in and out of prison and shit like that. So he would have money for a while and then he would be gone, and I just never wanted that for my kids. I fucked up by going to prison when they were younger, but I didn't want them to worry about fucking money ever. Like we own some property in California that we rent out. And that's basically a fucking my retirement plan if I have to, like I'd like to keep it to pass it down though to fucking the kids fucking, but I mean, if it hits $1 million for that property, I'm selling that bitch and I'm buying two property and two more property in Arizona. But then with the way the taxes are right now, like we thought about selling this year, and then the way the taxes got restructured, we would end up having to pay an extra $40,000 in taxes if we sell right now. So we're gonna have to wait and see if that changes in the next couple of years. Well, who knows? It should always goes back and forth,
Hopefully it all goes well for you, my friend. Hopefully it all goes well for you. So which one of these out of the 13 would you push first? Which one are you most proud of that would be like that first one out?
It would probably be my Ventura OG, just because it's from 1998 is when I did the cross on it, and it's just a keepsake of it, like I got people back home that like begged me for that shit because fucking it's not around anymore. There's only a couple growers that are real close with me that have seeds of it back home. And then I've given it to a couple YouTubers and stuff like that. And just seeing their reactions growing is like I kind of want to share it now, I was kind of brought up in that time where it was like, you do that work for yourself and you don't share it with anybody because you put all that work into it. So you keep it. And you know what I mean? Like people will come to you because they want that,
Yeah. Me too.
Nowadays,
some nice.
I want to get a big enough following to where I've always wanted on like June 1st, everyone to go out and plant fucking as many clones as you can everywhere, you know, and then go throw a mail or two out there, you know. Let's put enough plants out there to where A, the city either has to hire people to get rid of them, or B, they get sick and tired of paying the salary for someone to get rid of them, but they're like, let's just make this shit legal, you know, no restrictions. And I think if we plant it everywhere and push it down their throat enough, like that's where we're gonna get shit changed a little bit. Right now, we're just giving them our money and fucking, and they're turning around instead of using it to better our society, they're lining their pockets and they're like, how can we make more? Let's make it to where they can't grow their own medicine at home, so they have to buy it from us, you know, like what the fuck? There's the pie is huge here, you know, like everybody can have their share of the pie.
I think there will come a time though where that aspect will kind of burn itself out. It'll come first, but hopefully burn itself out. We'll get back to, you know, where craft is more sought after than the easeability of just store bought cannabis. I think it was Dutch Gross that was talking about that same thing where he talked, you know, I hope that it comes back to where we can, you know, at one point we had here a caregiver market that was set up basically like a farmer's market. You know what I mean? Everybody brought their shit. You could walk through there, vendor to vendor, and fucking, you know, buy.
That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome. A farmer's market.
And hopefully that, you know, that will come back around, and I think it will. I think there'll be a demand for that.
Definitely. I think we just got to do it ourselves, man. You know, we just got to really start doing, like, they don't let us sell genetics out here, but we do all these secret pop-up events and fucking, bro, I make so much money selling genetics at these events and shit. I get wholesale deals, so I can get the stuff half off, so I can release it at the same price they're selling it on their websites for, you know? I'm going to go to a show in Missouri after that Terp Throwdown with another YouTube grower, actually, Shield Maiden Garden. She's a female grower, and I'm trying to get her and Miss Jill introduced.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, she's got a big chest piece. Yeah. She's down there in Missouri, and when she told me what she paid for Shatter, I was really fucking upset. And I got to go to the post office still to drop it off, but I'm going to send her a bunch of stuff. And fucking, she was telling me that she paid for less than 0.3 grams of Shatter, $80. $80 fucking dollars, man. So she invited me to do an event there with her and run a booth, and I'm gonna bring so many fucking genetics down there, and I'm gonna give them at killer prices just to fucking get everyone fucking growing, you know.
Man,
those are the people I like to help, man.
That was one of the best of endeavors of my life, right there. Was hitting the ground running. Selling seeds, fucking seeing the impact hand to hand, and fucking, it's fucking very, very worthy endeavor.
So I started advertising on Craigslist here again, and every now and then I'll do it, and they'll get taken down and shit. But I had a dude call me last night at midnight, and I was on a YouTube live with someone, so I lost track of time. You know, I thought it was early. He called me and was like, "Hey man, do you still have that calculator genetics?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're $300." And he was like, "I'm driving from Omaha right now, and I'm moving to Phoenix." And he was like, "I'll be in Denver in about an hour. Like, is there any way you can meet me? And I looked at the time and I was like, fuck, it's midnight, man. And then I was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna meet you. And I bring him a bunch of free shit and I give him a bunch of my genetics for free, you know. He was stoked as shit. But like, I like to help people like that. Like, I got a few people I help on Instagram with their grows and stuff. And I'll take the time out of my day to sit down and talk with these people, bro, because it's fucking cool to see someone that's just getting into it, that's like, and they just want to learn all this stuff about, you know, how it grows, why it grows like this, you know, like, it's fucking awesome. But a lot of us started growing, like, I ain't gonna lie, you know, I started growing when it was 4,500 a pound. So it was like, that was definitely fucking part of why we grew, you know, fucking, but just to see fucking all these people that it helps them, they use it for this, you know, they'll tell you why they use it. Who knows, they could be full of shit, you know what I mean? But it still makes me feel like I'm helping them because they tell me some shit.
Growing, cultivating the plant has been another amazing part of the journey. You know, for me, it was strictly fucking getting high up until the cultivation end of it. For me, up until cultivation, it was fucking straight up hustle. I would be fucking lying to everybody if I
Yeah.
didn't say truth. You know what I mean? And it was up until that point, even at that point, because of, you know, one reason or another, the hustle was down and I was paying out of pocket. And that fucking out of pocket was like, fuck this, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What take the hustle out of it? This sucks, man. I gotta compensate for somehow. And then started growing on it. Then once, you know, you start growing, it something completely different clicks once you start
Yep.
cultivating the plant. It has a ton more weight. And again, that isn't like a pun. You know what I mean? But it does. It has.
Yeah, it's like
It changes
you're
you as a
creating
person.
something, you know, and you're creating something that you use, you know, that has value. Fucking, it's like teaching your kid to
Definitely.
do something, and he, you know, like you're like, I taught him to do that, you know.
Right, man. It does, man. It cultivates us as I think as we cultivate it. The longer,
Definitely.
the longer we. So, uh, where do you see yourself going in the future? There, what's your next? You know, you kind of got to concentrate on one. So, you think it
Yeah,
will be the dispensary in Oklahoma
yeah.
for
I
now?
think the next, like, I think the next 2 to 3 years is going to be Oklahoma, and but I mean, in the meantime, if I'm a 25% owner down there, and another state opens up, like somewhere else, like that's more appealing to live, that offers the same opportunity, then I'm definitely willing to make the jump, you know. Um, the thing with Oklahoma was, you know, like I wanted to get into Oklahoma about a year ago, but I would have had to rely on the people that I know in Oklahoma to be the 75% owner, and I would have had to put up 100% of the money. So it was like there was just too much chance of just one thing going wrong and everything turns to shit, you know. Where this guy now is, he came to me as he's a rep for GrowTech. He's in the game already growing really quality flower. And then when he came to me and was like, hey, I own this building in McAllister, all we need to do is go down there and get the license, you know. And I was like, fucking let's go, you know, let's do this. Like, I really got him back into really just kicking it in the high gear, because he was at the point where he was going to give up on going down there and he was just going to rent the building out to someone else to do the same thing. And he would still make money off of it, but not nearly the money that we're going to make, you know?
Right on, right on.
But shit, after
Like I
that,
said, man.
I'd like to get back to the West Coast if fucking shit changes. If Meet Kevin becomes governor, we will move back to California. He's from my hometown and shit. I don't know if you've seen his lives before. He's got like 6 million followers. Fucking, he's cool as fuck. Gives really good financial advice too.
Yeah, they need somebody go in there and clean up them fucking cannabis laws over there.
Definitely, man.
For the fucking
Definitely.
pioneers in the cannabis industry, the first ones, get shit going. They've got
Right.
things more fucked up, in my opinion, than any other state.
It is
As
so
far as
the cannabis industry got so messed up with rec there, man. And now it's like if you want to get into the game, you have to have a million five to even step foot into an operation, just with all the regulations they put on top of it. So when these other states open, like Oklahoma, and they're like, oh yeah, no regulations at all, no plant counts, no nothing. I'm like, what, is it too good to be true?
That's what I thought. Listen, what I thought? You know, I hear a funny little story too, as far as this. Is it too be good to be too good to be true? Excuse me, man. Fucking stoned. Is when cannabis became legal here in Michigan, they spelt it with marijuana with an H here. On everybody's cards, it was spelled with an H. And I was like, oh, this is it. They got us on a fucking loophole on technicality and shit. You know what I mean? They did the thing, man. They're gonna fucking let us all start growing, and they're gonna bust us for marijuana and shit. They're gonna be like,
Right.
oh no, you're licensed to grow, the marijuana. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know
The
I mean?
T and H was legal, but not the C.
Yeah. Yeah. Tricked you fuckers. Dumb stoners. They actually, nowadays, it's changed. It's the correct spelling these days. But man, I was like, for years, man, I'm like, oh, just waiting for it. Just waiting for something silly.
Yeah. I remember the first time going to a doctor to get a cannabis prescription, to get your rec or to get your fucking 215 card. And it was like, this is all we have to do is come in here and talk to a doctor that's laid back as shit. It's like he tells you what to say to get extended plant counts and all, you know what I mean? Like, they're cool as shit. Anyone in Colorado that's interested in moving to Colorado or whatever, I'll tell you right now, when you go to the doctor here, they run it a little more legit. But when you go to the doctor here and they ask you how you consume your marijuana, if you say that you only make edibles and RSO with it, then they will double your plant count to 75. Or it's more than double, but they'll up your plant count to 75 from 24. So definitely good to know.
Oh man, I just can't wait till it's legal across the board, but in good ways. Hopefully we do it right.
Yeah, definitely. I hope it steps in a direction to where, like a hybrid system, like we have some benefits, like I agree with the Canadian benefits, like they can send up to an ounce in the mail to each other with no worry about it. That would be fucking amazing.
Tell me about it. Tell me
Man.
about it. That would be, not that I don't enjoy my patient time, you know what I mean? But there's definitely sometimes there when dropping it in the mail would be so much quicker and fucking.
Yeah. I mean,
just drop it in the mail.
I know a good amount of us mail it anyway, but that is so much stress for those 2 days. I can't fucking sleep if I got like a few pounds going to something, like I'm a wreck until it hits, I hate losing any amount of it.
I mean to interrupt you, brother. What
No,
do you have anything that's like on the burning pop list in there? Anything that's burning a hole in your market that's like, oh, that's next out.
Definitely. I just popped Eastside Mac from Calculator. And then I popped Strawberry Starburst from Irie Genetics. At this last event I was at, he had a fucking joint he rolled to that. We were smoking my garlic, and then he passed around a joint of that. And I've never had a strawberry bud like strawberry cough. Yeah, it tastes great. You know, great terp. This stuff was so strawberry. It tasted like you were biting into a damn strawberry. Like it was so just strawberry on your tongue, you know. So I'm really excited about that terp, because most of those fruity strains that I've tried, they aren't really potent, you know, that they have those great terps, but it's kind of like you're not even high like 20 minutes later, you know. Like this shit hit me it hit me like a Mack truck. I was like, damn, this is good. So I just popped those two. I got some Mac and Jack from Ethos I just popped. I popped their headband cookies too. And then that Trump is really like, that's the kicker, low, you know, it's something that nobody can get it. You know, you can't just go out and get it if you want it. So just being exclusive like that, it's just has this aura around it, you know, like I had to do it now.
Oh, I definitely like the hard to get. I'm weird like that anyway about limited bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what I've been a tester for years and years and years, and that's one of the main things I've always talked about. Is one of the reasons why I flip my strains too, man. I don't have a lot of interest in growing what. Like you, pretty much like you were talking about earlier, your daughter trying to get you to grow the cookies and shit. I have no fucking want to grow like that shit. You know what I mean? Because I know if it's already at that point right now, by the time I get it out there or whatever, it's fucking done. It's fucking done.
Yep. All the hype's gone. I mean, yep. Ethos,
it's still,
if you haven't run the Ethos, they're great.
Like you were kind of saying there earlier, it's it's no fun when you show up to the party and everybody's got, you show up with that case of Budweiser and everybody else has brought Budweiser too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You want to bring that. Yeah. It's nice to have that one that everybody's like, hey man, what the fuck did you bring, man? That's fucking nice.
Where can I get that? You know?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely carry a lot of the popular genetics though, the Masonics, the Calculator. Like, I mean, Calculator, you can't go wrong with anything he's got, you know. But Ethos though I've been pushing them pretty hard lately. Everything that I've done from them has been top notch. I got some of their member OG here in the back, and it's like a fucking oil tanker, you know, like I can't even wait to see what this stuff presses. Because I know you could just tell it's gonna be over 25%. It's gonna press to the moon, you know. But everything I've run from Ethos has been amazing, and everything they have is $100 a pack. Now you can't go wrong with it if it's $100 for a pack of genetics. Like someone put some good work into that, you can't go wrong with $100, you know.
Yeah, I've ran a little bit of some Ethos genetics there.
Yeah.
And, I ran the Insane in the Membrane, which was that was one of the strains I had a hard time about containment right there.
That was a tester one, wasn't it?
No, I bought that straight out, man.
Did you? Okay.
The Detroit Cup. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was the one when it was released, they didn't release it was purposely their hype strain. It was supposed to be 34%. They didn't release, talk about what the really genetics were. It was supposed to be like super loud, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And of course I bit. And man, it was a good strain. I wouldn't say it was loud. Wasn't my most potent strain by any means. But what fucking was crazy about that thing is I could fucking flip it at damn near 6 inches, and that fucker would still be 7 foot tall.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Flowers like
You know,
Mac, huh?
there was it stretched and stretched and stretched, and man, it was hard to tame. The only way
Yeah.
I ended up being able to tame it, it was like on the last run, I ran it in a scrog under an LED, and that was like, as a, you know, a stretch, you just could keep feeding it, feeding it, feeding it. But other than that, man, it couldn't be tamed in a 10. It just
Yeah.
couldn't be tamed in a 10.
Yep.
But
Yep.
I ran it also their IOGOGO. Now that fucking strain was fire. That
Yeah.
strain
Hell yeah.
was, man, super tasty, man. I love
Yep.
that one. That was good.
Yeah.
Which
I've loved all their
was
stuff.
the ethos? Oh, I was just getting ready. Is there a certain one that in particular?
Let's see. I like the Membro OG a lot. I like their gelatos. Their Apex is fucking top notch. That's one of their lilac diesel crosses. I mean, all their stuff is good. I just popped their headband cookies, and I got turned on to that from a cut that I ran a few times from a buddy, and it was amazing. And then I ended up not taking cuts of it. And then when I hit him up to get a cut of it, he was like, "Oh, I'm not running it anymore," you know. And I was like, "Son of a bitch." So I fucking broke down and got a pack of it for myself. I'm pretty excited about their Mac and Jack. That's a Mac 1 crossed with a 94 Jack Herrera. I have that popped right now. But I have their Grape Diamonds. That's a Memberberry Pheno crossed with another Memberberry Pheno. But like I sell genetics, every probably 5 people that hit me up to see what I have directly, first thing they ask me is, "Hey, do you have ethos?" You know? So I mean, they're a pretty hot strain right now, and I think it's because people are getting into getting really good genetics, and they're seeing the prices. You know, they're seeing that for somebody putting amount of work into something, they want 200, they want $300 for a pack of them. You know, or Ethos is doing it big enough to where he can release his stuff in 100 a pack and make money. You know, so I really like to get behind companies that keep the price low and have really good quality product like that.
Oh, I'm kind of kicking myself for not. It's just a seed collector, you know, and they've got, you know, great genetics and all that. But man, as a seed collector, I wish I would have got in on that buy when that was going around. And that
Yeah.
sequence 3 fucking told me too. He at the point when he was going nudge nudge, get in on this. I think he got in at like $100. That level of it. And I was like, man, I should have.
Wow.
I could have been getting boatloads of seeds for, you know, that $100
Yep.
investment shit. You know?
Right now, what I do is I'll contact them and ask for a wholesale deal. And most of the companies like Dungeness Vault Genetics, they'll offer anyone a wholesale deal. You just have to buy 100 packs at a time. So their stuff sells for 150 on their website. You come to them with 7,500 cash, they'll give you 100 packs, plus they'll give you 100 freebie packs, and then they'll give you testers and all kinds of stuff. So you can really make, if you're selling it even cheaper than they're selling it, you can triple up your money pretty easily, make 20 grand off of 7,500, you know. It's just selling them online and Instagram and all that stuff's a little slow. Going to these events though, you'll unload 200-300 packs of genetics, no problem, you know. People are really thirsty for these damn things at these events,
I agree.
man. And I get it. Like if you haven't bought off Instagram, sending a Venmo to some guy you've never met before that you can't see something in front of you is a little sketch, you know. But I got plenty of people though that, believe me, my Venmo stays full, man. I buy all my lights and shit off my Venmo and fucking we'll go out to dinner off that motherfucker and shit.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Was that him? I think I seen him tap his button there. I think he fucking hung up on us. See him tap that earpiece and it was like, keep gone. Oh man, righty, let's see how I can do this. Oh, hold on here. If you're watching, Mr. Big Bob, trying to figure out technicality. Yeah. All right. So, cheers, everybody. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the show so far. Let's see, I gotta go into lightning fingers mode. Hold on. Be patient with me, Mr. Robert, Mr. Big Bob. Just gonna have to go fast. Here we go. Cheers. How you
Sorry
doing?
about that, man.
You fell out there quickly.
Yeah, I was press the wrong button or something, I guess.
That's what I said too, man. I was like, I think he just hung up on us. I seen him like tap his ear and fucking it was
Yeah,
gone.
I just got they're my son's earbuds and they're like those wireless kind and some I'll touch them sometimes to like push them back in and it'll turn shit off.
It's funny. I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you came
Yeah,
back.
hell yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to have
Usually,
all of my kids just have 4 different houses and rock 75 plants apiece.
it is a nice dream, isn't it? Talk
Right?
about trustworthy folks, being able to pass on genetics to trustworthy folks, man. That'd be the ultimate dream right there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yep. I know my daughter now is like, I'll go pick her up from work and it'll be if me and my wife are both here, she'll call me first and be like, Dad, will you pick me up? And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And she works at the mall, so I'll go to pick her up. And before I leave, though, I'll be like, oh, can you bring a quarter here? Like, this is why you want me to pick you up, not your damn mom.
That's
Her
funny.
mom just, my wife was in the room the other night. After all that stuff happened, we all ended up coming back here to the house. And I thought my wife was asleep, and I rolled up a joint real quick and I lit it, and fucking me and my daughter are smoking a joint on the couch. And my wife comes out and she knows she smokes, but she doesn't want to see it. My wife doesn't smoke. She's like, I can't believe you. Like she's a damn adult. Stop.
It's awkward that first time too. Super awkward that first time.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I remember I was like 13 years old, maybe like 14, and I had gotten in trouble, and my dad had to pick me up from school. He had to leave work, so he was pretty pissed off, and he was like, I could smell the weed on you." And I was like, "What?" Like trying to play stupid. He was like, "You smoke weed, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Come on, we're gonna go to your cousin's house." And we drove to my cousin's house, and I didn't even know I had this cousin, because I was so young and shit. But he had like the fucking best weed I've ever seen. And it was like, holy shit. And when only like 4 people sold weed in the town. It was like opened up a new world. Oh shit. And then me and my dad smoked all the time after that.
It was kind of fun the first time that same daughter there. the first one that left there. It was a weird encounter the first time I smoked with her
Right.
because she had asked me to go to the hash bash with her and that boyfriend. And I'm like, hash bash? And I'm like, so you smoke, huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the truth came out that she'd been smoking the whole time with that cat. And their first date was the hash bash the year prior. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. So I actually, the whole time down, you know, kind of awkwardly smoking there. And the whole time I'm like sizing that cat up, man. Like,
It'll never change either, man.
what a, you know, I was like, man, this is kind of cool, but man, I don't know about this motherfucker. What else does he talk to her into? Basically, I'm
Yeah,
thinking the
yeah.
whole
You know,
time.
I don't even want to go on that subject, but believe me, bro, like sometimes I look at that kid and just like, you know, I wish my daughter was a fucking lesbian.
I don't know. It'd be just as tough. I don't know. Crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
But
I'm sure it would. Maybe
so
we
at
could.
the I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, brother. Go
No,
ahead.
go.
I was gonna say the other half of that story was it was also a kind of outing with me to her
Right,
because she knew I had grown weed, but she had never known to the scale I was into the cannabis industry at that point.
right.
So we no sooner get out of the car down there and fucking somebody drives by and you fucking screams, "Hey, Eagle, what the fuck's up?" And I'm like, ooh. She's all looking
Hell
at me like,
yeah.
what the fuck? I'm like, she was in awe about all the fucking people that we had talked to that day and shit, man. I'm like, okay, it's time to have a little talk when we get home. Of course, I didn't want to have that talk in front of the boyfriend there,
Right.
but things were changed at that point. You know, it was a funny eye opening day there. All in all, cool day though,
Hell yeah.
memorable.
That's my daughter grew up with plants in the garage and plants in the backyard. So I mean her birthday parties and stuff were always limited to close friends, you know. But she has a kick out of watching some of her older birthday parties from when she was a little kid. And there's one party, I think it was her 7th birthday party. I had like 40 sour diesels in the backyard, all in 5-gallon pots. And there was like rows of them, you know. And her friend, they were fucking almost done. And her and her friend are running through them with their arms out, like slapping all the nugs, you know. And I turn over and I see him. I'm like, get the fuck out of the plants, you know. But she has a kick out of watching that shit, you know, which is cool that we put that type of shit on video, you know.
Yeah, it is, man. It's the golden age, man, and it's again, man. I can't thankful. You know, I am very thankful for YouTube letting us do this fucking every day. And look, YouTube's been up and down with
Yeah, they go
cannabis
back and forth.
community and shit, but
Yeah, you'd
fucking,
figure
it's
they'd
cool that
see
we
how
could.
much people come on here and want to learn how to grow and that, you know, and like fuck, it's the same, you know, you make the same amount of money off of them viewing stuff as anyone else. Like, why can't they just make money off it and monetize this, you know? Be nice. Maybe in the future, you know.
It's just amazing that let us chronicle this shit the way they do, are currently letting us do anyway.
Yeah. Just the amount of information that we get to move around, is it's fucking overwhelming. Like someone can learn how to grow without having a mentor or a so-called master grower teach them, like you could just hop on YouTube, buy a pack of genetics online and get going. No one has to know nothing.
Yeah. So, I guess this is a fair question. If somebody were to show up to the vendor booth, what genetics are you off?
I'll have a mix of everything. I'll also have my stuff there. But I'll have Capillator, in-house genetics, Masonic, I-beam poppin, Ethos, Irie, Adam Dunn. See, what gets me is a lot of people don't know who Adam Dunn is, man. And he's one of the most prolific fucking breeders there is, I'm actually supposed to go on his show in the next couple weeks. I've been working with Rasta Rob a lot, hand in hand here in Colorado. I actually came really close to investing in their Area 420. Right now they're offering for 200,000 for you to come in instead of 800,000, which is the normal operating cost to get your licenses and everything. They're offering for 200,000. You buy in and use their facilities, and you can get power at 7 cents a kilowatt too, because of where it's at and everything in the middle of nowhere. So it's pretty cool operation they got. But me and him, I was actually walking to the car to go put some stuff away at this event, and I had a $7,000 order that got fucking seized, and I was fucking livid because the company that offers it also offers this. It's a guaranteed shipping, but it's like a $600 insurance. I'm not paying $600 off something that I'm only going to double my money off of. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. And I got screwed out of it. I got screwed really bad. And we started talking about C-Tier now and stuff like that. And that's a company that he works with and everything. And I was like, bro, you know what Colorado needs is we need an outdoor event here that is a weekend long, music, camping, fucking the whole shebang, and they're working on that right now. When they open Area 420, they're going to have that too. They're going to offer a few different concert events, Mendo Dope, Cottonmouth Kings, and it's going to be camping for like 4 days, and it's going to be fucking dope, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And we're starting to get a few events like that here in Michigan, man. There's one up here in northern Michigan, a campground type event, and I think there's a similar event going down in southern Michigan there at the Rainbow Farm there, which is known for some psychedelic for magical forests and shit like
Hell
that.
yeah.
Pretty fucking.
Yep.
But fucking that shit's cool as hell. I mean, camping. When the first one I went to, man, I thought, man, this is fucking the magic. In my opinion, didn't start until the event was cool as fuck. But it was cooler when fucking everything was winding down and people were going around the campfires and fucking
yeah, that's
smoking
the best
down.
part,
You could hear
man.
the stories. Yeah, that was fucking awesome.
You meet new people, fucking hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. There should be more of that. Really should be more of that.
Yeah,
You know what would
definitely,
be
man.
cool that I just kind of thought of, like along that lines, that is like a dying cultural event here, but would be perfect for cannabis. If anybody's got the fucking collateral for this, would be fucking smoking drive-ins. Because you can't smoke indoors anyway, but wouldn't it be cool to fucking pull up and fucking smoke down while you watch the old fucking movie on the old big
Right.
screen? Fucking Wouldn't it,
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome.
I know here in Colorado, which I bring it up because I believe Michigan is trying to pass the same law. But when you sign for your driver's license here, you basically sign a waiver. If the police want to, they can take DNA from you to have you tested. If they think that you're under the influence of cannabis, they can say, hey, and I got a DUI for this here. It's a DWI. They say fucking, hey, it smells like weed and shit like that. So they can have an EMT come to the scene and give you a test right there to see what your levels are, right? But the way that it is, it has to be fixed, and there's already petitions and shit for it to be fixed. But say you dab at all, you could dab and then 4 days later get pulled over and your levels are still too high. Like they're trying to say, like, oh, if you smoke, you're not allowed to drive within 12 hours. Like, get the hell out of here,
Yeah, that's very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Inaccurate, man. I would wake up on any given day over the limit. I ain't even fucking had that morning fucking smoke yet. Fuck, I'd be over the limit. I know I would.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man. Um, that's the thing out here. You're never gonna see jobs not drug test anymore until it becomes federally legal, just because of insurance purposes and shit. If you get hurt on the job. But I'm really good at my job and I'm an asshole, you know what I mean? So they keep me around no matter what, but I can imagine not smoking a joint on the way to work, like if I had to deal with those motherfuckers without taking a dab or taking a couple hits, you're like, I'd lose my fucking mind.
And that's one of the reasons why here in Michigan, man, I still preach, man, keep that medical card. For the reasons that you just talked about right there, man. You get fucking hurt on the
Yep.
job, you want to be able to fucking have that HEPA fucking, blanket over you. I need it because of my aches and pains and fucking it's my medicine. All true. All
Yep.
true. But without that card there, you get hurt, you have cannabis in your system, they treat you like you fucking been drinking alcohol.
Yep.
Recreational. You know what I mean? You might as well get it to save your ass, and for many reasons. Many reasons. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
I was working with a company and I cut the tip of my finger off. And when the safety guy came, I was wrapping my hand up and I was just going to go to the hospital. And he was like, I have to take you. And I'm like, fuck, this motherfucker's like, I had to go stop and get some fake piss first. You know what I mean? Because I know when you get there, they're going to tell you, hey, we need a urine sample too, after they sew you up and shit. So fucking, we're driving and he looks over and this guy's cool as shit, bro. He looks over and he's like, do you need to stop at your car or anywhere? And I was like, yeah, I need to stop at a smoke shop. He was cool as shit, drove me straight there. I had my shirt off and I had my shirt wrapped around my finger to like stop the bleeding. The dude was cool as shit. It was a smoke shop that I walked in there. I didn't have my wallet. I didn't have anything. And they're like $25. And I was like, bro, I need a drug test thing right now. Like I go to reach for my wallet and have it. Like I can't go ask this guy to borrow $25. And he's like, bro, just come back one day. So fucking like 2 weeks later, I went back there and fucking I paid for it and I gave the dude like a half ounce of bud. Fucking he was stoked.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I just want to
Yeah.
one more time. Just throw this out there. Please, in all seriousness, to those watching, I know you know this, Big Rob, but to everybody that's watching and will watch this in the future, I'm absolutely serious. If you have a medical card or you've had a medical card, please, 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 please renew that medical card. Support your
Definitely.
local caregiver system. Moreover, the reason why I'm pleading with you to go get that card and keep that card isn't just because of the caregiver system not just protect because of the protection at work and all the medical protection, but for research, for research purposes and to keep medical cannabis money going because research is only funded by numbers. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And less and less cards are being pulled every year. Funding for proper medical cannabis research will dwindle. So, and medical
Yep.
cannabis is what started this all. So, I mean, stick to the roots. Please keep that card. Keep,
Hell
not
yeah.
just for protection, but to keep interest in medical cannabis going in general. But
Yeah. If not,
it's
it's all gonna go wreck.
my little.
Hell
Right.
yeah. Once it goes wreck, they take away all our rights, man. Fucking A. Well, hey, I gotta get off here pretty quick here. My wife's texted me a few times.
No worries, brother. Like I said, man, I appreciate you jumping on.
Definitely, yeah. Thank
Even
you
if
for having me.
it's for 10 minutes or whatever, man, it helps kick the night off and get things rolling. You did way more than 10 minutes. And I'm grateful for every minute,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's been a
Thank you, man.
great conversation, brother.
Yeah,
And
thank
I'm
you for
sure that
having me, bro, for
you
sure.
has been very grateful to get to meet you firsthand, sit in on this conversation. And you are not like nobody else, no different than anybody else, my friend. You have done the time, so you have earned your right, your invitation to come hang out in any wormhole anytime you see fit. The invitation that I sent you tonight is the invitation that we use nightly for the
Okay.
wormholes. So anytime you want to come hang out, chime in, even if you want to just pop in and be a box and fucking smoke down with us. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
hell yeah.
watched the show. I'm sure you've seen a few
Yeah, for
wormholes.
sure.
It
Oh, hell
isn't
yeah.
always
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes it's fun, but even if you want to just pop on and say, hey man, I'm gonna be in fucking Mass next week. If you need some seeds, hit me up. I'm cool with that because everybody right there with you. More people that we can get growing, strengthens the fight overall. So,
Yep.
if
Yep.
I'm
Let's
right, if
as
I
many
can
people
help
as we
you
can.
help them find that fire genetics, I'm down, brother.
Hell yeah,
So
man.
one last thing I'd like to get from you before you go. I don't know if you've caught enough of the shows to know, but I'm looking to get the soundbite from you. You probably heard that recording in progress. This is the only
Yeah,
part of the
sorry.
show that I do record for convenience sake. Will you give me a soundbite for the show? This is episode 411. If you want to throw that in your soundbite, this is basically at some point will be commercial for your episode. So
For sure.
uh,
Yeah, definitely.
make it make them want to watch, Big Bob. Make them want to
Yep.
watch.
Yep. Hey, this is Big Bob's Grow. We're over here at Eagle Gardens talking shit. Episode 411. Tune in. Let's grow some fire.
Thank you, brother. I do appreciate your time, man. And not only for what you've done here tonight, but the effort you put into the cannabis community. Sounds like you've got a lot going. Good luck to you in Oklahoma. Don't be such a stranger. Pop in, man. I look forward to hearing from
Definitely
you
will,
again
man. Yeah,
soon, man.
definitely will. Hey, and thank you for doing what you do, bro. Like, you give a place for people to come to, and like they could just be new, learning about this shit. This type of place is somewhere they could get and chat and ask advice from multiple people. Like, it's never ending information. You know what I mean? It's fucking dope as hell.
Well, now you're part of it, and I'm looking forward to your input, brother. So
Hell
thanks
yeah.
again,
Right
and
on,
you have a
man.
great
Yeah,
night,
thank
man.
you. You too, brother. We'll see you, man.
Take care, man.
You too, brother.
One great episode with Big Bob Grows. Hopefully, hopefully I see that you guys have enjoyed it. 10 thumbs down tonight, guys. One of them is mine. Come on, take this shit down. Big Bob's was a great episode. 82 thumbs up. That's pretty amazing. So I'll take the good with the bad. As I said, it isn't about that number, not at all. But it is a little bit of bullshit. You guys know the deal. I guess I'll fire up the wormhole. If some of you guys want to jump in and hang out for a few, I really need to kind of hang in the background, get some work done. So if you guys want to pop on, don't mind me hanging in the background while you guys talk some shit. I'll fire up the wormhole. But if not, you guys have a good one. I appreciate your time for hanging out thus far. Hopefully you guys know the deal. What we're trying to do around here, do something nice for somebody. Please, random acts of kindness do save lives. But don't forget yourself in that process. You can't give what you don't have. Take care of yourself. Hopefully I'll see you guys in a few. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it.